Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise podcast. It's the Cubs podcast with Oleg and Praz, but Praz has left the country.
He ran away. He's on the run.
He's gone to Italy. Apparently he's going to try out for their World Baseball Classic team. And I said, Mike, your name ends with a vowel, but it's the wrong vowel. You're not going to make it, but good luck to him. We are, of course, broadcasting live from the Yeti Yard here in what?
No, that's not right.
For anyone watching the Cub game on Tuesday night, weird little Alex Cohen and Cliff Floyd are broadcasting from the Yeti Yard, and they have said Yeti Yard at least 11,000 times in the first 3 innings of the game.
Where is the Yeti Yard? Is it out in center? Like,
I believe it's the old Fannie Mae suite that they could never sell. It's when they turned the batter's eye, when they put the weird windows up so that they could put people back there. Yeah. That's where it is. I think though the Yeti Yard is like, isn't it in front? Because it doesn't have there's no roof. I think that suite still exists, and then but now if you rent it, you have to look through the back of Alex Cohen's enormous head. He's blocking your view of the field like a balloon.
Are you is that just like a normal suite, like a corporate suite, or?
I think there's I believe they do it kind of like the rooftop seats at Fenway, where there's like a row of seats. You can buy like a number of them. If you got a lot of money and you do it fast, you can buy up the whole thing. If not, you could buy a couple. It's by availability. There's like you get to sit, there's a little counter and you look through the thing, and I'm sure it's nice, but I kind of wonder if it's not selling well, considering they basically turned this entire game into an infomercial for
it. For Yeti. Why are Yeti coolers?
Then they had special guests. They have all these special guests tonight, and the first one was the CEO of Yeti.
Amazing. Is the CEO also did he also throw out the first pitch, and is he doing the 7th inning stretch? Are they really leaning into this?
He wasn't as hairy as I thought he would be. He looks like a regular guy. You know the theory that Bigfoot, what's the plural of Bigfoot? Bigfoots.
I don't know.
Is that they are brown bears, because when brown bears hibernate, they lose a shitload of weight, and then in the spring, they're kind of running around, and they look, they're like tall, skinny, hairy things, and they think that most of the time when people see what they think is a Yeti, it's just a skinny bear that hasn't gained his winter weight back yet, or his summer, or he lost weight during the winter.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. I had never heard that. That would be just like it'd be just like human beings to mistaken a bear for a human.
Look at that big hairy guy. Or it's a skin. They're weird looking, and I didn't believe it until I actually saw a picture of one of the skinny brown bears, and I would think if you saw it from 30 or 40 yards away, you might be like, "Oh God, look at that creepy human-looking thing." And then they get fat pretty fast.
Yeah, especially after a couple of years. Yeah. I don't think I have anything to add to that.
So anyway, the Cubs are playing the Bars.
Bars, yeah.
And Kyle Tucker just hit a 3-run homer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I think we can declare his timeout a success.
Yeah, that was something.
Craig did it again.
There might be something. Well, the first time, well, not the first time, but the last time that happened that I can remember was to Seiya Suzuki, and it was David Ross who did it, like 3 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago.
It was Ross,
yeah. He said, it was David Ross. So I don't know if Craig did it again. I don't know if he's done it before or what the thing
Didn't they do it already this year with? Well, no, God, they couldn't do it with Ian Happ because you couldn't possibly not have him in the lineup every day. But somebody got. Well, I mean, they didn't do that to Matt Shaw. They sent him to Iowa. That's not a timeout.
Right. That's kind of a timeout.
That's a full-blown detention.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is that if these guys had, I don't think it would be. They wouldn't send Kyle Tucker down no matter what. But some of these guys had options.
I don't think he'd accept the assignment.
No. He's like, you're going down. You still have options, Kyle.
So prior to his home run tonight, The 11 games he had played before tonight, since the his benching.
Yeah.
341, 449, 659. That's an 1108 OPS with 3 homers, 8 RBIs, 9 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 49 plate appearances. So, yeah.
9 strikeouts in 11 games. All right. That's a little high, seems like, for him. Because he's one of the guys, I think, last year, no, maybe not last year, but he's one of the guys who, like, walks almost as much as he strikes out, right? Like, he's not.
This year, he has struck out 86 times and he has walked 86 times.
Yep.
Last year, he walked 56 times to 54 strikeouts.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
For his career, he has 134 more strikeouts than walks. Because he didn't start doing this until 2023.
Yeah, baseball's hard when you're a rookie, I suppose. I'd imagine.
Yeah, and he was bad as a rookie. 141, 236, 203.
But that was also
they should have waived him.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly in full-time duty though, right?
That was 28 games. Then he only played 22 games. That was in 18. He was 21 years old. In 19, he only played 22 games. His first full season was in the pandemic.
Okay.
And he led the American League in triples with 6.
Okay. In 60 games?
He played 56.
Yeah.
58. Sorry, can't read.
All right. He's a pretty good ball player.
But what did you think of the timing of his benching? Because that was controversial, that they did it right in the middle of the 5 games in 4 days against the Brewers.
Yeah, I will continue. I will die on this hill. That is really poor planning. If you know you're going to bench the guy, and I think that like we talked about it probably in the prior podcast, which was probably 2 weeks before that, right?
It was during that series.
Yeah. And but we talked about it, a couple weeks before because we talked about the idea of benching him, and you brought up how you can't just benching a guy probably won't work. I'm not trying to call you out or anything like that.
I feel attacked.
That comes later.
What are you calling me an idiot? You wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first today.
No, my kid reads this stuff. I'm sorry he had to find out this way. I always remember that from your Gordon column. So the point being is that like if you know that you're gonna give the guy a break, plan it so you don't do it during arguably the most important series of the year.
Yeah, I mean I think what was the defense was they didn't want to do it against when they were playing bad teams like the Pirates. They were kind of hoping he would just start hitting and they wouldn't have to do it, but then they got themselves in a spot where they did ironically they won all 3 games he didn't.
Yes.
Play.
Yeah. Yes.
So then there was and then Praz complained that he came back that last game of the Brewers series.
Yeah.
Thought he should wait until they were in Anaheim. And my thing was I wanted it to be as short as possible because he's their best player.
Yeah. To give you credit, you talked about it with Dave. It did seem like it wasn't just a benching for the sake of giving him a reset. They really did do something with the swing, right? They figured something out.
He's batting right-handed now. It was a dramatic change.
One leg, yeah.
They're like, "Are you sure you're left-handed?" I don't know. Let's try the other way. Holy shit! God, you're amazing. Yeah, how long have you been doing this for? I never tried to bat right-handed. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like 50% better all of a sudden, even now.
Little league team, all we had were left-handed bats. That's what I had to use.
Left-handed bats.
What? Kyle, what the fuck? Where did you go to school?
What are you talking about? It was very, yeah. So to say that, like, and I think you mentioned it with Dave, how the finger just sort of like he did something, like he just changed something subconsciously.
That was Dave's theory, and it's a good one, was that it could very well be something stupid and small, like not finishing the swing completely because that's when the finger would hurt. And that doesn't seem like a big thing, but over time it screws up your swing. And then if you don't you have to figure it out. It's kind of like when pitchers tip pitches and don't have any clue why they're doing it. It's some subtle little movement that somebody has figured out. It's your swing can kind of go back. Golf swings do it all the time. One little thing goes wrong, and it takes you forever to figure out what the fuck you did. And maybe that's what happened. I don't
know. The home run he hit the last game against the Brewers when he came back. He was really, really good, right? He had a really good game. The Cubs lost that game. Am I thinking about that right? And it looked like I think he had a home run against the Brewers right in that final game. Am I right? Or
I
was
don't
that
think
the
he did.
first game of the next series? But it looked like it did. It almost. I mentioned it to a buddy of mine. It looked like he was doing like some golf swing, like where. And I don't. I'm talking out of my ass probably. But it looked like he was doing some golf swing where he kept his arm like really straight, like
That's
his
just what he
lead.
does. It's kind of a cool
Yeah.
looking.
Like I was right. And like even
He
on
was
the back swing, it looked like just like this sort of weird swing where he kept his arm straight and went through and hit the shit out of the
yeah.
ball.
He
But I don't know if he
homered
was
in the
doing that before.
he homered in the first game in Anaheim, and then he hit 2 the next game.
Oh,
He was
yes,
0
yeah,
for
that's what it
4
was.
against the
Yeah.
Brewers
Okay,
when he
against the
came
Brewers.
back.
Okay. That must be what it is. Okay.
Taylor
Jeez,
McGregor has wandered into the Yeti yard now.
oh, jeez.
Alex Cohen is now, he can't speak because there's a pretty girl in the booth, and he doesn't know what to do. I don't know who has a bigger crush on her, him or Boog. It could very well. I think it's Boog.
I think like pretty much every Cubs fan has a crush on her. No,
I don't.
wow.
She's a very attractive woman, but
She's a very attractive
I
woman.
find her. I don't care for her. She seems like a big.
Apparently, she's best friends with the Brewers sideline reporter. What's her name? Sophia something. Like they go on vacation together and stuff. They work together.
It's not Trenny Kuzniak.
It's who?
Trenny Kuzniak used to be the sideline reporter for Brewers. I love Trenny. She was great. She went to Boston, I think, and then hated it there. But yeah, I like Trenny. She was good.
All right.
Taylor's fine. My biggest problem with Taylor, I don't think is a problem with Taylor, and it's they go to her way too much.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have enough stuff to talk about, so you end up with a lot of dumb shit. And it's like, just stop. Can we just watch the game? If something comes up and you need the silent reporter, she's there. Let's use her. Otherwise, no.
Well, but also that might be an issue with Taylor, just because, like, if you're a sideline reporter and you have all this access to stuff, right? It doesn't. You could actually make it useful, right? Like obviously you're not going to go talk to Craig Counsell in the middle of a game, but
she should though. Just barge down there.
Yeah.
Hey, needle nose. What did you do that for?
Yeah, like I think that there's a way to make it interesting, make it relevant to the game, make it relevant to what's going on. But I don't know, maybe not. So you have access, you have information, like you've got stuff that's going on in the game, right? Like there's ways to make it a little bit interesting.
I would think it's weird. And I think I really like Elise. I think she's really good, and I think she has a better like sense of what is useful during a broadcast. But they don't, like, I don't know. You would think they would, like, I don't know how you would use it, but you'd think they would hear stuff has happened in the dugout where they're sitting there that we don't know about. And it's like the best example, I think, was the Michael Soroka thing. After he was gone out of the game, they showed a bunch of video of him like talking to the trainers and doing all that stuff. And then they showed like a replay of Ben Brown warming up in the bullpen. They didn't tell us any of that until Ben was in the game. It's like, you have footage of it. You have a sideline reporter.
Yeah.
The pitcher the Cubs just picked up looks like he's already hurt. Why are we not talking about it while it's happening? Why do we wait until it's over before we talk about it?
I guess that's what that's what I'm talking about. Like there's ways to make it informative for the person, for the audience. And she just doesn't do it. Maybe that is on her, right? Maybe if
some of it is. I mean, when she's better than she used to be. When she first started to do it, she used to read the stuff right off of her notepad, and because it was the COVID year, they zoomed right in on her, and you could read her notes off of her notepad. Like she would flip them over, and you could read the notes on the back. And she read a lot of stuff from The Athletic without ever giving credit to The Athletic. There was a lot of stuff that Sahadev and Pat Mooney had just written that morning. And it's like, what are we doing? I don't know what any of this is. So there was a lot of that. And then we get a lot of mom and dad talk.
Yeah, of course.
Marquis loves that. That doesn't matter who the silent reporter is. They want to, and I've always felt like you're intruding. Like, I know how my dad would feel. Like if I If I somehow had been good enough to pitch in the major leagues,
Yeah.
and it was my first game, and I'm pitching for the Cubs, and he's all excited, and him and Mom come to the game, the last fucking thing he would want is for Taylor McGregor to sit next to him while I'm playing and talk to him about it. He would not have been nice about it. He's a very nice man. He would not have been nice about it. He's like, I came here to watch my fucking kid play. Go away.
Yeah.
Which would have been great TV. And I guess also like sometimes it just goes on and on.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, there's no line. It's like a bad SNL skit. There is the idea that it's nice. Yeah, to your point, it's nice to do it for like 30 seconds. Maybe if you're the father of the pitcher, like do it when he's not pitching. Obviously, if you're the hitter, it's pretty easy to kind of fit it in. Do it for a little bit, get a reaction. Like it is fun. Like, hey, your kid is making his MLB debut. Like that's a big deal. It is kind of fun, but like you're right, it lasts too long and it just goes on. It's like
I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was Matt Mervis's dad, but somebody's dad. Taylor's interviewing them during the first at bat, and the dad is agitated. He just wants to watch his kid's finally making his debut, and she's talking to him, and he's mad. And the at bat ends, and then she says, so there was like the last day of a homestand. She's like, so are you going to go out on the road and travel wherever it is that we're going next? And he looks at her and he goes, don't you know the schedule? It was great. He'd had it with her. He's like, you work for the team. If you don't know where the fuck we're going next, I'm not telling you. Go away.
Yeah, that does seem like bad form to like, hey, your kid's up. Let's interview right here and now. That does seem bad form. I'm with you.
So there are some opposing players that you just feel like kill your favorite team.
Yeah.
And Ozzie Albies is one of those.
Okay.
Literally just hit a homer.
Yeah. Yep. This is very topical, even if you're not listening.
So I looked up his splits against the Cubs. Okay. This is Ozzie in 38 games against the Cubs.
Okay.
This is before tonight, so you can add on to this.
Okay.
394 batting average.
Jeez.
451 on base. 671 slug. That he just hit his ninth homer in less than 40 games.
Is this against the Cubs or is this just at Wrigley Field? Okay.
This is total.
Okay.
23 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. At Wrigley Field.
38 games. Okay.
Yeah. So literally half those in 19 games at Wrigley. 377, 449, 675. And it's his 6th homer at Wrigley now in 79. It's funny because the team he hits the next best against are the White Sox.
Oh wow.
he just likes Chicago.
Yeah.
But the White Sox only 12 games. But 386, 481, 568. That's his second highest OPS. It's 1122 against the Cubs. It's 1050 against the White Sox. Yeah. And he also kills the Houston Astros.
Okay.
But he's only played them 4 times.
Okay.
That's weird. That has to be injury timing.
Yeah, wasn't he hurt a little bit? Yeah.
Because he's been around for 9 years, you play him every year now. This is year what for Ozzie? Oh shit, anyone but 9. How has he played the Astros 4 times in 9 years?
Well, when did they start? Like it was just recently within the last couple of years, right? That they started playing all the interleague. Like the interleague games used to play like
they only balanced the schedule last year, right? That's when they started,
right?
We play everybody.
Kind of makes sense.
So yeah,
because the Braves and the Astros would.
You played one division from every league, from the other league once a year. So every 3 years you would get the Astros.
Yeah. So that kind of makes sense.
And he's been hurt, so that's probably why.
Right, but still.
But it's like, could the Cubs maybe throw your scouting report out? Try something else. Maybe that one doesn't work.
This they're doing ain't working. I mean, he's a pretty good ball player anyway, right? He's not.
He is a good player, but he's not.
But he's a pretty good ball player.
He's a career 266, 320, 455.
That's pretty good.
775 OPS. That's good, but it's 300 points higher. 300 points higher against the Cubs.
and not in an insignificant amount of games, right? It's
38 games. It's what? Fourth of a season, 40.
Fourth of a season,
quarter of a season.
Yeah, that's not bad. Can't wait till they sign him and he hits 219. 296, 340 again with him.
Yep. Yeah, when he finally gets to do the Dansby Swanson Jeff Blauser thing. I know Dansby's been much better than Jeff Blauser. I know, but
I did. That's not saying much.
Yeah, Blauser was
that was awful.
I don't think it worked.
It was painful.
So the roster's expanded yesterday. It's not like the good old days. It doesn't go to 40 anymore.
I know. I was always kind of it was both fun and infuriating at the same time.
It was ridiculous. What? I mean, every team had like 12 guys in the bullpen then.
Right.
It was just. It seems like they have different ideas. They had an idea where you're like your roster would be 30, but you could only have 26 active.
Sure.
Every game. So you kind of rotate those guys. You could rotate your bullpen guys around, but you wouldn't just be able to like. And then with the 3 batter thing, it's really hard.
Well, right.
To do it anyway. So you probably 28 is probably the whole reason. If someone wants to know why why the whole 40 man would be available, it was because until the last, I don't know how long ago, not that long ago, minor league baseball basically ended on September 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you had an injury, you didn't have anybody to call up. So they basically let you bring those guys up and keep in shape with you. And then if you needed them, you had them. That's why they did the whole roster thing. And a lot of teams, nobody went to 40, but you typically would bring up like 6 or 7 guys, and you had other guys you could call if you needed.
Right.
Is that when, was that how, right? Was it after September 1st? Remember the Ryan O'Malley start in Houston where they like called him and said, "Hey, can you get here? What time can you get here? We have a game tomorrow." Maybe not. I might be misremembering the timing.
Brian Matthews. I remember the Matthews start.
Well, that was that was like August 1st. Was that right? Yeah. That was the minor league deal they signed him to. He had to be activated by that day or released. So they activated him, and then he was so bad they released him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing that just happened with somebody the Cubs just had. Kenta Maeda did that earlier, right? He was in the minors for a while. He was terrible.
I was wrong. That was August 16th, 2006.
Okay. The Ryan O'Malley start, is that what you're talking about?
8 innings. Cubs won 1-0.
Yeah.
8 innings, 5 hits, 2 strikeouts. And then he pitched 6 days later, and he made it through the 5th, and then he never pitched again. But one great start.
Okay. I mean, that's, one more start than I had.
It was because but it was like a late call up because I believe they had a ridiculous extra inning game the night before. Okay. And so they had to use somebody that was supposed to start. And I just fucked this up because when was it? The 16th of August? All right. Mm-hmm. Nothing like doing this. This is live too. This isn't just like on this crap. Right? Cut this out. Somebody's watching this. It's their fault, but
can you tell who's watching?
Several thousand people are watching. The 16th. What happened on the 15th? Nothing like your team being in a pennant race and then talking about the 2006 Cubs instead because they were so much fun.
2006 Cubs. Oh.
All right. Let's see. Yes. Tuesday, August 15th, the Cubs beat the Astros 8-6 in 18 innings. I think it was Ted Lilly had to come in and pitch.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, Rich Hill got the win, pitching 2 innings, pitching the 17th and 18th.
Okay.
Cubs pitchers that day. Juan Mateo started. Do you remember Juan Mateo?
Okay. Yes.
Will Oman, Michael Wirtz, David Aardsma, Stevie Air, or Scott Air, Bob Howry. Oh, Big Bob. Big brown spot Bob. Roberto Novoa. Angel Guzman. Ryan Dempster went 3, and Rich Hill. And I believe Rich was the next day's starter.
Oh, okay.
So they called Ryan O'Malley because he had to pitch.
You can do a remember this crap just on that game alone.
You could. Astros pitchers included Roger Clemens. Never hear him. Chad Qualls, Dan Wheeler, Brad Lidge, who blew the save.
Oh, wow.
Which led to the extra innings.
Yeah.
Let's see how the Cubs tie it because this was a team full of bums. Top of the 9th. Oh, Cubs behind 6-5. Leadoff hitter Matt Merton hit a home run to tie it.
Ooh, all right.
This was quite a Cub lineup. This should have been a playoff team.
Yeah.
This was their Juan Pierre led off and played center. Cesar Izturis batted second and played short. Angel Pagan batted third, played left field. Ramos hit cleanup. Jock Jones was in right. Jock was 2 for 7 with 3 RBIs. John Mabry played first. Ronnie Cedeno played second. Hank White caught. He got 3 at bats, and then Michael Barrett played more than him. He ended up with 4 at bats. That's quite a. I don't know how that ball of fire, that lineup didn't work. Merton came in as a pinch hitter.
How did they lose a game? How did they ever lose a game?
I don't know. But anyway, this whole thing started because we were talking about the Cubs adding players.
Roster. Yeah.
So they signed 3-time Grammy Award winner Carlos Santana. Is he going to do the anthem before every game? Is that why they got him?
Dude, it'd be awesome to hear. Yeah.
He could do the stretch. He could do he should.
Just on guitar. Just hear him play guitar. Because he famously doesn't sing, right?
He brings in Rob Thomas when he wants to.
Right.
When he wants somebody to sing.
Man, I love it. He's got, there's an incredible story that he's got if you ever want to look it up today. I think he tells it on Howard Stern about playing Woodstock and running into the Grateful Dead. I don't remember who, maybe probably Jerry Garcia before he has to go out on stage. And you can just look up the rest.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. Like, and he tells it, because he was there.
The guy the Cubs actually signed is not the guitarist.
Right. So. It's not right. Because that guy's 70 years old.
It's the 16-year veteran.
Yeah.
39-year-old switch hitting first baseman, third baseman. He has played third in his career. Right? Yeah. He's also played 2 games in left field in his career. One of them, Game 3 of the 2016 World Series. Because they had to get Mike Napoli's bat in the lineup.
Future Cubs coach at that point.
He only played 4 innings out there, and then I don't know if they swapped him in to play first or he came out. I don't know, but I think they had. Was that wasn't the 1-0 game, or was that the 1-0 game? Maybe they had to get him out because they just needed to catch the ball.
Did Lester start that game? Is that when they had to get Napoli in? No, Lester started.
Well, no, Napoli was playing for the Indians.
No, right. No. I mean, what I'm saying is,
you mean they needed him because it was a lefty?
Yeah, right. Is that
was Game 3
Santana's
Hendricks,
switch
right?
hitter, right? Game 3 must have been. Yeah, actually, you're probably right because Hendricks pitched Game 6. Yeah, so why did they have to get Napoli in the game? Oh, whatever. No,
they didn't have. I don't know if you remember, the Indians didn't have a lot of bats.
No,
I mean they did. They had Lindor, great player. Kipnis had a good year. Jose Ramirez was a baby, but he was already good. But there was a lot of
Carlos Santana was good. I mean, he was good that year.
Yes, and Santana was good. So this would allow them to keep Carlos's bat in and the great Mike Napoli.
No, I understand, but why? Right. Okay. All right.
They didn't do it after that.
And what was the big deal about Mike Napoli, like getting the bat in? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
So anyway, Carlos, this was great because they needed an old guy on the bench who can play first base when they face left-handed pitching. And they have Justin Turner. That's right.
Well, he's not the different. They needed somebody who doesn't have red hair.
That's probably true.
Yeah. And Santana is a switch hitter. He is a switch hitter. Even at 39, he's probably a far better defender than Justin Turner. And I think part of it is the annoying thing where in the 5th inning, if the other team brings in a lefty, Craig has to pinch hit for. It's in the contract.
He did it in the 7th yesterday, and even then I thought this is too early because this spot's going to come up again. Why are you doing it?
I mean, I swear he's done it in like the 4th or the 5th. Like he's done it like
he's done it earlier.
It's an automatic thing. And so going back to where if they bring in a righty, Justin Turner's more useless than you or I against righties, and that would be so you need Carlos Santana being a switch hitter. You get him back into the game. Everything theoretically is a little bit better.
He wasn't wearing his shorts yesterday, though.
You mean like Clark the Cub?
Yeah. No, he had pants on, but he had full pants, like all the way down to his feet, because he'd been wearing. He'd been one of those guys who was wearing the shorts or his pants were stopping above the knee. I just wondered if maybe the poor Cubs seamstress hadn't had a chance to.
Yeah, they weren't ready.
Fix
they weren't ready
pants
for that.
yet.
Right.
I didn't recognize him when he came up to bat.
He seems like a really interesting guy. I feel like I thought I saw some interview. I don't know. He's fine. He's had an off year this year, but if you limit his at bats and if he gets 20, 25 plate appearances here in September, unless they clinch pretty early, it's a big whatever. And if I don't have to see Justin Turner face a right-handed hitter for the rest of the year, that's even better.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing though is that if Miguel Amaya is healthy enough to come back, then your bench most days is going to be 2 catchers, 2 40-year-olds, and Willie Castro.
Yeah, and Willie Castro, who can play.
So they might need Willie to play multiple positions at once. Can he do that?
Yeah. Well, you put Carlos Santana at third, put him in left field. He's multi-versatile.
I mean, he was so he was 30 when they put him in the left field in the World Series. He's 39 now. I don't know that I don't know that I would try that. Although he'd probably want a Gold Glove out there. He'd show up Happ,
could.
And they'd be like, the voters would be like, oh my God, he's even better than Ian Happ. Well, we got to vote for Carlos. This year he has played third base this year, an inning. I think I looked this up already. It's not, 1 inning.
Yeah, I can't. I will say this, on Baseball Savant, his fielding run value this year is in the 85th percentile.
No, he's still a really good first baseman.
Yeah. So it's, and like I said, if it limits the exposure that we get to Justin Turner tonight notwithstanding.
Yeah, I think
even better.
I was kind of surprised they didn't do this in the first place, because he ended up hitting for Turner in the 9th yesterday. It seemed to make sense to me that if you wanted Turner to be the right-handed bat against the lefty pitcher, you might as well put Santana in to play first right away.
Because they're not going to keep the lefty
just in. So you had better defense at first. I mean, Turner's right. Not. He had a game early where he literally just missed a throw. And I think it freaked everybody out. Like, oh my God, he's too old to play first now. He's been okay ever since. I mean, but yeah, I guess you wouldn't do that, because then if a spot comes up where you're like, oh, it'd been nice to have not burned Carlos for no reason. That's fine.
But with the amount of pinch hitting opportunities should be few between with a DH anyway.
Yeah.
So
well, especially if you're a team like the Cubs who have a regular DH. A lot of teams don't. And so that spot during the game can be like the matchup spot. But the Cubs have Seiya there, and you're not going to take him out for Carlos Santana.
That's right.
So you're right. It does. Well, for them, it's first base. It's because Craig doesn't trust Bush against lefties. And I guess it makes sense that your pinch hitters, you might as well be first baseman, because that's really the only spot you're going to use them.
Yeah, once in a while. I mean, I could see him pinch hitting for Matt Shaw late in the game.
I'd like to see him. I know he's played better lately, and he hit a home run right-handed the other day, so now he's got to take all the at-bats.
Happ.
Yesterday? Yeah. But Happ is basically useless against righties or against lefties again. He had it early in the year when he was really struggling left-handed. He was actually hitting better right-handed, but he wasn't good. And he's a switch hitter in name only.
Right.
I mean, he bats right-handed, but he doesn't hit right-handed. So I wouldn't be afraid to do that. In fact, against lefties, I would rather they play Seiya in left and then DH one of the old guys.
Yeah.
And then if they switch, then you can put Happ in later to get him a left-handed at bat.
But you lose that.
I just feel like it's a waste of time to have him bat right-handed. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, at best, you're hoping he walks. Like, that's your best outcome. Could you just not swing, Ian?
Well, hit the home run yesterday.
He did, and so now that's that blows my whole thing, because now they're like, see, he's good. Like, no, well, but that's fine.
I swear, Ian Happ has his 3 best games in a 2-week period, the 3 days before we record.
Well, he hasn't had very many of them. Maybe we should record more. We're going to have to up the podcast so that he has a better finish to the season.
And well, in the playoffs, we'll definitely
he can't shame me anymore. He's been mediocre for too long for me to be like, well, I was wrong, but no, I'm right about Ian Happ. I don't know. Maybe it's Blue Sky doesn't seem to be that friendly to Ian Happ because I can just rag on him all I want. I never get any shit.
Nobody
from people. They don't care. No. Although somebody's like, don't post that over on Twitter. They'll go nuts. I'm like, well, there's a lot of reasons for me not to post that kind of stuff on Twitter, and they have nothing to do with it.
I mean, the reaction that you got to calling Michael Busch just a pretty good ball player was holy cow.
Yeah,
that was fun to watch. You didn't even say that he was bad.
No, I still want to do the thing. I kind of did it. I'm gonna wait till the season's over. Just estimate is Michael Busch. 80% of his offense comes in 20% of the games.
80% of his offense goes, yeah. Okay.
When he is hitting, he's really good and he's really useful, but there are long stretches where he does nothing.
And maybe I'm going on vibes, but he does seem to be at least a little bit more consistent. Like last year, it was stark. Like he had 9 home runs in 5 days and then 4 home runs, whatever it was last year, right? It was pretty crazy. This year seems to be...
He did something similar earlier this year, but he has had more. He's had his bad stretches have been shorter.
Yeah, right.
They're more acceptable length.
Right. Like it's just a ball player, right? At the end, like,
but it still cracks me up. Boog does it a lot, where Boog's like, "Can you believe that the Dodgers couldn't find a spot for this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can."
I can't believe.
Like he wouldn't. Is he going to play over Freddie Freeman? Really?
Right.
Is that where they're going to play him?
I mean, they tried.
Is he going to play over Max Muncy at third? No, he wasn't. Yes. There's a reason. They still have better players at both positions he can play than him. That's why he's.
They did try making him a second baseman. So, I will say this: there is that sense that at least they tried to get him into the lineup, which kind of does probably speak volumes about who he is. Right, like it does. He's the Dodgers.
Yeah,
the Dodgers got a lot for him. Right, all things considered.
They did.
So that's something. Like it's not. It's something, right? He's a good ball player. He was always pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be wrong because he has hits in 77 of the 132 games that he's played in.
7 out of the 100. Really?
Yeah.
I wonder how that compares to the rest of the league.
Let's see what his stats are in games where he gets hits. He ought to be pretty good.
I wonder how the Cubs' run differential is in the games that they've won.
Wait, did I do that right? I thought I did. The record doesn't work. Well, anyway.
The record, in the 7, are you trying to figure out what the Cubs' record is in games that get to hit?
Oh, I picked them all. I just wanted to see what his stats were in the games when he gets hits. Now, everybody's numbers should be good if you only include the games you get hits in, right? They get resorted on.
Oh, I'm annoyed. What is the Chicago Cubs record in games in which...
You're not chat GPTing it, are you?
We know that I am not chat GPTing this. I am Google Geminiing it.
Because that doesn't make him a suicide yet,
right? I'm sorry, you cannot.
Yeah, it doesn't want to do this for me. It doesn't like sorting a column and then trying to pick the range. So I'll do it manually someday. I just want to know what his batting average was in the games he got hits. I'm going to say 426.
Okay.
But in my mind, if you would have asked me how many games he's gotten hits in, I would have said 15, 20. No, I probably would have said 50, thinking that there were 80-some games that he just didn't do shit in. But turns out there's only like 50 games that he didn't do shit in, which might be a lot. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think he's fine. I'll have to find a different argument to make. I'll just pick on somebody else.
Okay. Like now I'm trying to figure out this problem. Why can't Gemini do this for me?
You're trying to figure out what the Cub record is when he gets a hit?
Yeah. He's got 117 hits in 77 games. So we know he's got 117 hits this year. But in those 77 games...
What's the Cubs record?
Both what is the record and what is the batting average? We just went to Fangraphs, and that's it. I'll figure that out. In 2 weeks, I'll get you the answer.
So a Cub win tonight.
Yes.
Because the Phillies are off, as you usually are on a Tuesday.
Right. After you've played on a Monday.
If the Cubs win tonight, they will have the third. They will still have the third best record in the National League, but they will only be a half game behind the Phillies.
Okay. And
so here we are. It has felt for a month, like they're just not playing well. At least, only in like certain stretches. And every time you look up, it's like, well, nobody is other than the Brewers.
That's right. That's right.
That's probably why it feels that way.
Yes. Well,
that's because every time you look up, the Brewers, they're down 6-0. Oh, they won 8-7. Like, of course they did.
Yeah, I made that point. The Brewers blew a 6-run lead last week and ended up winning the game. And I made that point on the last podcast, is that the reason why it seems the Cubs are worse than they have been is because the Brewers have been so great. But there was a 20-game stretch when the Mets went 4-16. The Yankees have dropped off the face of the earth over the last month. Like, it's just the Dodgers haven't been that great. The Padres have come back down to earth. Like, it's just all of these teams are just sort of. It's just the baseball season, and it just happens to be when the Brewers have been amazing. Because the Cubs, even when the Cubs were bad, they were still kind of a 500 team. Like, I know they went through a stretch where they lost 8 out of 10, but then they kind of came back and they swept some series. They got swept by the Giants, but it's just been this sort of weird thing where it seems like it's worse than it actually is, which is fine because the Cubs are still they're a pretty decent team. They're not, they're a pretty decent team.
Well,
and go ahead.
So on Sunday, I decided it's time to start keeping track of the most important thing that the Cubs can do this year. That would be for the 4th consecutive year to finish with the 5th best record in the National League in the second half. And they are tied for the 5th best record in the National League in the second half.
In the second half, wow! All right.
They're gonna. But when I did this,
winning a bunch.
I did it on Sunday. So now they're 22-20 since the All-Star break. So they're over 500.
Yeah.
The only other teams that are the Phillies
that are over 500.
The Brewers.
Yeah.
The Padres.
Sure.
The Pirates.
Interesting.
And Arizona was, and now they're not. So the Cubs are 5th now with a bullet.
Wow.
So just hang on. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
They're going to have to. The Pirates are going to be like, the Cubs might end up finishing 4th because who knows if the Pirates can hang on.
Well, not only that, but the Cubs have a favorable schedule.
They do.
And they've got reinforcements, so they might finish like the 3rd best record in the second half.
But that's, you can't fly a flag for that. That's not a four-peat.
Yeah, I know.
I feel bad.
They'll have to clinch early and then just play scrubs in the last week of the season or so.
It'd be funny if like Carter's bonus is dependent on them finishing with the 5th best record in the second half. Jed, they're winning too many games. What are we going to do? Well, I got Aaron Civale, and look at he's getting guys out. What the fuck?
It's somebody, I don't remember who, maybe it was in our Slack channel. Somebody said something about where was the White Sox are wondering where this version of Aaron Civale was. I'm like, do you not remember what he did against the Cubs?
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't think he gave up a run, right?
Was that the Shota game where Shota was throwing batting practice?
Yeah, it may have been. Yikes.
And JD is still convinced that Shota was tipping his pitches because he's like, this White Sox they teed off on everything. Like they knew what was coming. He says one thing, if you have a bad day, they're going to hit you, but not like this, especially this bunch of scrubs, basically was what Jim was saying. Like you could tell him what was coming. He didn't think you could tell him what was coming and they could hit you that hard, but apparently they could.
All's well that ended well. That was the only game they lost the White Sox, right?
But it was fun. The Ever Measured Bleacher Nation said that the Aaron Civale pickup already a success. Can't fail now. It's like, well, yeah, he helped you win 1 game, but what if he's terrible in 6 more? Then no, not a success. Sorry, I hate to tell you, it could still go bad. But his role, I think maybe that was Bert's point. His role is what he did, which was they were down by 5 runs. You put Aaron Civale in, and you hope not to use real bullpen guys, and you go get him tomorrow. but he pitched well enough and they rallied.
Yeah.
He's not going to be coming in like a Brad Keller spot.
Leverage. Yes, 100%. But so the other thing is right, partially, and they also, by the way, today signed Joe Ross to a minor league deal.
Yeah,
that was something. I think it was
Dave's
today, maybe
brother.
And so there is the sense that, and you've talked about it before. We've talked about it before. The idea that they're really kind of a lot of there's a lot of a lot of pitchers who are now pitching way more innings than they have, right? Boyd, Horton. They've got some pitchers who've been hurt. Tyone's back in the IL. So there is the idea that you just have to get innings. And if you can just simply run a 500 record or just be a little bit above 500, whatever it is for the rest of the year, you're in really good shape to make the playoffs, right? You finish at 20 games over 500, you're making the playoffs. Yeah. So there's something to be said for just simply getting there now. And now you're at the point where you can afford to do these things, especially if they clinch a playoff spot in the next couple of weeks. Like, you could really afford to now give a bunch of innings to guys you don't have to count on.
Clinching is one thing.
Making a playoff start.
Clinching is one thing, and considering they haven't been in the real playoffs in 7 years.
Right.
I mean, they only went to the COVID ones. That's a big deal. But they need Crane and Tom need them to be the number one wildcard team, so they have home playoff games.
Yes.
So they will not be taking the foot off the gas if they still have a shot to be the number one seed, or the what would that be? You're the 4th seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is important. You're more for them. It's 2 more gates before you get bounced out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you want to advance, you really want to be at home. And I know you can look at it like the Mets beat the Brewers in Milwaukee last year, and you can go through and find it, but you want to be home. You don't want to go on the road for that unless.
So hang on. Wait, how's it going to work? The top 2 teams get a bye. Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the worst wild card team goes to the worst division winner, and then the other wild card team goes to the best.
Yeah.
So like right now it would be Cubs Padres.
Yes.
At Wrigley.
Yeah. That's whatever.
And it was too bad. Somebody waved a pride flag, and Jason Adam fell off the mound last night. Tore a muscle right off his leg. That's too bad.
Our
Shelby Miller blew out his arm yesterday.
He did. He had pop, he said, huh? For the last couple of weeks, I've been yo-yoing Jason Adam on my roster. Like, every time somebody gets hurt, I put an ad, and then he's the first one I drop.
He's really good. I spent the first half of the season doing it with Jeremiah Estrada.
Yeah. But it was funny. Our commissioner was making fun of me.
Oh.
For yo-yoing Jason Adam. Yeah. It's like, do we have to have a talk about your Jason Adam problem?
You can't use him on the days that you need to wear the pride hats. He won't pitch.
That's what I said. I said, well, maybe
actually,
I have a thing for.
He did pitch, but he wouldn't wear the hat. He wore the regular Rays hat.
Is that right?
He wouldn't wear the one with the rainbow on.
My favorite thing about that is still how who was the coach of Hawaii? Who was the old
June Jones?
June Jones. He didn't want him to wear the rainbow on the helmets, even though they're the University of Hawaii.
They used to be the Rainbow Warriors. That was their nickname. Yeah. I think they're just the Warriors now. Maybe they went back.
Oh man, how I don't know what I'm trying to say. Fuck that.
There was a
so funny to me.
I don't remember which spring training it was. I think it was either 19 or 20. When I think it was 19, or maybe it was 20 before the pandemic, like the days before. But Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant were mic'd up for a game on ESPN, for a spring training game on ESPN. It was really good. They could talk to each other, and they could talk to the announcers. Yeah. And Rizzo noticed that Bryant wasn't wearing the spring training hat. He had his regular hat on. And he was giving him crap because he thought he had the wrong hat on. Chris was like, I'm not going to wear that stupid thing. He was doing it on purpose. He just didn't like the spring training hat that year. He was just wearing his hat. He's like, screw it. I'm going to wear this one. And it got me wondering, like, what would happen if a player, like, I hated the Cubs, Wrigleyville, those all blue City Connects.
City Connect, yeah.
And the Giants have embarrassing City Connects now with like graffiti ones. What would happen if a player, it'd be some old crusty old white guy, just said fuck it and just wore his normal uniform while everybody else was wearing it'd be fine,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the
Well,
team
yeah,
might
I
not
don't
like
think
it. I'm
it'd be
sure
fine.
baseball would fine him.
Yeah,
but
you'd get a strongly
legally,
worded letter.
right? But legally, he
from
could
Manfred.
just play in it, right? As long as he had a uniform with his number, the right number on it, I think he could play.
I actually don't think so. I actually
No.
I think that right. There's something.
Well, it does happen. Remember, this happened to Felix PA. Do you remember when the Cubs had the second gray uniform, the one that just said Cubs and very generic? So they were playing in Arizona,
as opposed to Chicago, right?
And he had the other one on. He didn't. He wore the wrong one, and he played most of the game until somebody finally noticed.
All right. Okay, interesting.
I don't think you have to. I think as long as you are not running around with your dong out, and you have a number on, I think you're okay. So it would be. I'd like to see somebody do that and just be like, no, these things suck. I am not good. Chris Sale. I mean, instead of going around and cutting all he should have just been the only one in the normal uniform. Yeah. Just walked out with it and said, "Fuck it, I'm wearing this. You guys look like clowns."
Fine. Yeah, I think that I feel like you'd get fined. There's something. There would be repercussions of some. I don't know that they'd be very serious, but there would be repercussions.
I still remember. So the NFL is famous for. They literally have people that work for the league who go around before games and note the players who are wearing their uniform in not within the standards, and then they get a letter and a fine. Like if your socks are too high or your socks are too low, or you got the wrong color shoes on or whatever. And when Johnny Unitas died, the next game that the Colts played was at home, and Peyton Manning was going to wear the black high top shoes to honor Johnny Unitas.
Yeah.
Which seemed cool. And the league said he would get fined if he did it. What does Peyton Manning make? $50 million a year? Fucker wore his white shoes. Just pay the fine, you dipshit.
Just pay the fine.
Honestly, I would imagine if he got fined, Jim Irsay would have paid the fine.
Right.
But he's just like, no, I don't want to get. It's like, Jesus. Pansy.
Well, Peyton Manning's always been very a company
Mr.
man.
By the book.
Right. He's the wrong guy to make. Ray Lewis wouldn't have cared.
There's some guys that would have made him more likely. Like Jim McMahon would have showed up in all black.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Indeed. Yes.
Shoe shine and his pants black. Yeah. Fuck you. Oh, you don't like it? How about if I wear all black? How do you like that?
How do you like them apples? Oh man, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
I don't remember who. Somebody was. It wasn't anybody famous, but I was like the line. He got traded to the Padres in the 80s. And he said the worst thing about playing for the Padres, he goes, I couldn't get used to wearing brown shoes.
Oh, geez.
They used to have to wear, now they pretty much wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
But up until then, for a long time, it was the Cubs had blue shoes. You had to wear blue shoes. And the Cardinals had red shoes, and they had to wear red shoes. And the Padres had brown shoes. And I remember it was a big deal. It wasn't that long ago because I think Bryant did it. Him and Bryce Harper wore white shoes in the All-Star game, and they thought it was the coolest thing ever that they got to wear white shoes. It's like, guys, this is not that cool. Go play for the A's. You can wear white shoes
and use yellow baseballs. Is that what it was? Didn't Charlie Finley?
The yellow or orange? Thought they would show up better at night.
Right.
Well, pay the electric bill, Charlie. Get some lights that work, and you see the ball. I remember my great aunt she never knew. She would come to our house for Christmas. Okay. She was a widow, and so she'd always ask Mom, "All right, I need to get the kids something. What do they want?" I'd be like, "I don't know." So she'd ask us, you just pick a gift. My aunt was she had money. It's not like she couldn't afford it, but she wasn't going to go out and go shopping for us. So get her something simple. Right. And I was 9 or 10, and I'm like a football would be a leather football would be really cool if she thought she could swing that. And I was like, yeah, that sounds realistic. So she told her, and my aunt went to wherever. I don't know what she lived in Skokie, so God knows where she went for her sporting goods.
Old Orchard, probably.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Although she probably went to Marshall Fields. Do you have footballs?
Okay.
So it's Christmas, and I open the thing, and I'm like, oh, shit, I guess she got me a basketball because I'm opening it. She got me a bright orange football. It was a really nice leather football, but it was orange.
Yeah.
And I'm like showing it to Dad, like, what the fuck is, and he's looking at me like, don't say anything. So I'm like, oh, thank you very much. I'm like,
yeah.
I had this weird orange football. It was a nice football, but it was, I don't know why it was orange, but it was a Rawlings or whatever. It was a normal, it was like it was an official football, but for some reason she picked that. She didn't know the difference.
Well, you got to use it. No, you got to use it. Was it signed by Roland Harper?
I took it. Yeah, he just signed Andy on it. Yeah. He just wrote my name and gave it back to me. Yeah, that was Mom. I had bad luck as a kid with Bears
on your jersey.
With football related sporting goods. Mom got me the jersey with my first name on it. And...
Yeah, no more Bears stuff for you. That's it.
I just remember Dad's reaction reminded. Then years later, when my aunt died, we had to go in. We went in for the funeral, and I don't know, there's these people in your life, especially when you're kids, who are like extended members of the family, and you don't know how they fit in, and you never think to ask. And I still don't know. But we had a woman that I think she was maybe related to my aunt somehow, and then so I guess somehow tangentially related to us. But they called her Auntie Gun, not Annie Gun, but they call her Auntie Gun. That's what they call her. Her name was Gun, and they would call her Auntie Gun. And I hadn't seen her since I was a little kid, and she was old. My aunt was like 83 when she died, and Auntie Gun was older than her. And my brother and we were pallbearers. And we were the youngest pallbearers by 60 years.
Okay.
In fact, it turned out to be a problem.
Ones too, right?
Originally, we were on the same side of the coffin, and we realized right away we had to switch because the two of us were going to do most of the lifting. So we had to switch around. But anyway, so we're standing there waiting to go, and they're going through the receiving line, and all of a sudden, I just see my dad. He just comes. He's fast walking right at us, right at me and my brother. And Jim and I are like, "What's going on?" And he walks up and he goes, "All right." But he's not laughing, but I'm trying to do this without laughing. He goes, Auntie Gun is here. Remember, she's really old. She has a beard. Do not laugh at her. That's the worst thing you could possibly have told us.
Right.
So now we're like, here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus.
How old were you guys?
I was a high school senior.
Okay.
So we were old enough. My brother's older than me. Like, yeah, we would have been able to handle it. But we shook hands and she did. She had a scraggly beard.
Okay.
And I'm sure from some medication she was taking. And we got, as soon as she was out of ear, hopefully she was out of earsight quick because she was so old, we completely lost it. And Dad got so mad at us. But we're like, what did you expect?
Yeah, like, why would you say anything?
Yeah. The reason he did it was we went to a wedding one time where it was like my mom's college roommate. It was her daughter, and we knew them forever. Like, we knew the family. They lived in Rockford for a long time, and so we knew them. And so we all went to Cincinnati for this wedding. And we're sitting in like the second, we showed up late, and we had to sit up front. Catholic wedding. Everybody's in the back. And so we're sitting up close to the front. And we are sitting next to the grandparents of both the groom and the bride. We know the bride. Okay. And it turns out it's like the bride's grandma is sitting next to one of the groom's grandpas. And they're talking really loud before the service. They can't hear. They're kind of yelling at each other. And so we're kind of amused by that.
Yeah.
And one of the bridesmaids comes up to sing during the wedding mass. And she is terrible. She is. Okay. And we're like, Jesus. And the grandma turns to the other grandpa and goes, doesn't she have a lovely singing voice? So the whole church can hear it. And my brother and I immediately are under the pews. We are heaving with laughter. We cannot. Dude. And my mom and dad are sitting up like a pew ahead of us, and they're just both looking over their shoulder, like over and over again. Shut up. Assholes, shut up.
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure that's why Dad who's going to head this one off at the pass. God. We're not having another repeat of doesn't she have a lovely singing voice with the bearded lady.
Oh, man, at Donahue's wedding, we're sitting in the second row. His mom is sitting in front, and obviously Donahue and his groomsmen up at the altar, and I don't know how he got in the story, but the priest is telling a story about the helicopter and how the one nut on top of the helicopter is called the Jesus nut because it's the only thing that holds the
Oh,
propeller
okay.
on, apparently,
Yeah.
right? And he says this and he tells the story and he says, and it's called the Jesus nut. And Mike's mom turns to us, and it's me and let's me and the groomsmen. Sorry, the groomsmen. We're not up front because it's the groomsmen. We're sitting there in the second row, and she just turns to us and she just goes, "I know a lot of Jesus nuts." Like right in the middle, like we cracked up. It was like three of us just died laughing, and it was loud. Like, it's the middle of the wedding ceremony. It was the funniest fucking thing, man. It was incredible. She was doing a stand-up act during it. It
Yeah.
was the best. Oh man, that was hilarious.
My 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 friend Neil from Northern.
Mm,
I was a groomsman at his wedding, and when we went to Northern, I met him, and his friend Joe had been there. They'd been friends since they were little kids.
okay.
And when he called to tell me that he was getting married and wanted me to be in the wedding, I said, "That's great." He goes, "Can you be the best man?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but shouldn't Joe be the best man?" He's like, "Fuck Joe." They were having some kind of fight,
Oh, jeez.
and the wedding planning got so stressful for his now wife, like especially from her side of the family. Oh, you got to do this,
Yeah.
you got to spend this, you got to do this. That she kind of freaked out. So I get a phone call from him, and he's like, "We're not getting married in June. We're getting married in 2 weeks. Like I just said we're just going to do this right now
Well,
because we want this over with. She's going
yeah.
nuts." And he goes, and could I'm like, "Joe's gonna be the best man?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I kind of figured that was probably gonna
Yeah.
happen. Anyway, don't worry about it." He's like, "But you can be like co-best man." I'm like, "I don't want to be co-best man. It's fine."
No. Yeah.
But the one thing I did was I helped write the Joe's toast. At the rehearsal dinner, Joe and I sat at the back, the 6-pack, and wrote Joe's toast. And both Neil and his dad worked for the phone company back when the phone company was still a thing. And so my contribution to the one joke I remember that I got in the toast was, I don't know if you guys know this, but both Neil and his dad work for the phone company, which is why on the invitation it said that the reception would occur sometime between 1 and 7. I thought that's a really solid, clean, that's a good toast joke. Yeah. Joe delivered it fine. I can't even blame him. We got nothing. So I decided, I stood up and turned to the crowd and said, "Just because you assholes didn't get it doesn't mean it's not funny." And that got a laugh. But what I remember about the wedding itself was, we're kind of in the vestibule off the side of the altar, and Neil was not Catholic, but his now wife was, and he was really nervous about screwing up the ceremony because he's like, "There's so much stupid shit that I have to do. I don't know how to, I don't know how to do any of this stuff."
Yeah.
And he was getting more and more nervous, and he wasn't nervous about getting married. He was nervous about doing something that that me and Joe and his other friend John would always remember and always make fun of him for. He was putting a lot of stress on himself.
That's pretty funny.
He's standing there and he looks at me and he goes, there was a door behind me and he goes, "Where's that door go?" And I go, "I think to the parking lot." And he's like, "Okay." And all of a sudden he's out the door. And we're like, "Holy shit, he's making a run for it. We got a runaway groom." Yeah. He wasn't. I opened the door and I just turned to Joe and John and go, "Oh, don't worry. He's just barfing in the tree."
Oh,
he was throwing up. He got so nervous. He was throwing up on the tree.
Oh, man.
So he walks in. John reaches in his pocket, hands him a couple of lifesavers and tosses them to him. And Neil's like, "I feel much better. I'm ready to go." And then the wedding went off fine. But yeah, we thought he bolted, but he simply went to go throw up.
Yeah, there's like, I feel like Catholicism sometimes has a lot in common with Judaism. And there's like, I remember my bar mitzvah, like you're 13 years old. And like all the stuff that you have to remember, like you're reading Hebrew out of this Torah, and there's so much stuff you have to remember. Like I have no idea how I made it through as a 13-year-old punk kid.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck are they making me do? That was nuts. I didn't throw up though. I don't think I threw up. I was very confident. Like you have to go through like a month of like lessons. Like, I think it was maybe 6 weeks worth of lessons.
For confirmation.
Oh man!
I didn't
But
get
at least you got
confirmed.
to read in English, right? You have to read Latin.
Some kids get confirmed like first communion is second grade. Some kids get confirmed like fifth or sixth grade. We didn't get confirmed until high school.
Okay.
But we had to go through months of like part of our Catholic.
Man. Yeah.
They're basically Sunday school, CCD. Was learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
Our sophomore year, our CCD teacher was our football coach, and we're like, oh, and we're like, we love Coach, but come on, this is a lot of him. Like we get him all week, and now we get him on Saturdays too. It's like this is getting a bit much. But I remember getting through that, and we're talking at the last day. Well, at least next year, we won't have Coach Schwab. And that's the big year because we're going to be doing all the confirmation stuff. Remember, think how much, he was very intense. Like, think how much extra pressure he'll put on us. I remember we show up junior year, the door opens up, he walks in, and we're like, oh, no. This is the juniors. He's like, oh yeah, I like you guys so much, I moved up with you. He did it again. We just with us again the next year. But he kept telling us it turns out not to be true. He told us that the bishop would ask us questions, and we had to get the questions right, or we wouldn't get confirmed. It was bullshit. You didn't get asked any questions. It was just so we would actually study the stuff that we were supposed to learn before we went and got confirmed. But I was an altar boy for a long time, and typically, like the confirmation mass, sometimes you have 4 altar boys. There's a bunch of stuff to do.
Okay.
The nice thing is you get paid for it. It's one of the few you got paid for weddings, funerals, and confirmation. Everything else was between you and God. And so I see on the sheet that have to do the confirmation that year. I was like 11, and I was kind of nervous about that. There's a lot of stuff to do. But there'll be 3 other guys there with me. I get there, I walk in, and the bishop is standing there, and he introduces himself, and he goes, "I understand you're going to be doing this all by yourself." I'm like, "I am?" He's like, "Yeah, you're the only altar boy today." I'm like, "Oh, great." He's like, "Don't worry, I've done this once or twice. I can prompt you." So it went fine. Yeah. Like he's literally like leaning over.
So wait, did you get paid for 4 guys? Then?
Oh no, I got paid for 1. I didn't get paid for 4. That's not how it works. And the other 3 checks went to Rome.
That's a shitty playoff share.
That's right. They wouldn't vote me a full share. I got a quarter share.
Yeah. What the hell?
And it went fine. And my dad had just dropped me off because he'd already been to mass that week. He wasn't going to confirmation mass, and he knew about how I'd come pick me up. And he used to tell the story great. So when I finished, I went back into the vestibule to help the bishop like clean up, and he just hands me so there was a lot of extra wine from communion, and he pours himself a glass, and he pours another one, and he just hands it to me. And I didn't know what to do with it. I literally thought, I'm like, what am I supposed to go dump this in the sink?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at him, and he's like, he does like a toast gesture.
Oh,
so
wow.
I drank a whole glass of wine with the bishop, and I was 11, and I come out to the car, and I open the door, and Dad's like, Jesus. He's like, what the hell's going on? Oh, I was getting drunk with the bishop. He didn't try anything. If you're wondering at home, he didn't try anything.
Well, he's not a priest.
That's right. Well, a lot of bishops got promoted out of just promote him out of a parish.
I should laugh at that, but holy shit. Oh, man.
So that's what happens when Praz isn't here. We start telling jokes about, or telling stories about weddings and funerals and confirmations. Why not?
Yeah, weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Man. Do you get a name?
Yes. Well, I had a.
Were you Melchizedek? That was one of my favorites. That's an Old Testament name, Melchizedek.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how to spell it.
I was Abraham.
It ends D-E-K. I know that.
Yeah.
You were Abraham?
Yeah, Abraham in Hebrew. Yeah.
We take a confirmation name too. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it, but mine was Bruno. My dad was not amused.
Oh, did you get to pick it?
Yeah. And I was 16 or 17 when I picked it. So I was going through the list, and I'm like, oh, I like Bruno. That's kind of a cool name. He's like, oh. To be fair, my brother sucked up to Dad and took his name. He was Michael.
Okay.
Well, then I'm free to pick whatever I want, right?
Yeah, right.
Well.
Are you a godfather to anybody?
Yeah, to both of my nieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a two-time Godfather.
Yeah, well, that's fancy, isn't it?
Yes,
I don't know.
it's very good.
That's the one thing I never got to do. Well, I mean, obviously, got to because I'm Jewish, but
Yeah, I'd loosen up the rules. I don't know if that's against the rules anymore.
I'm pretty sure I've been to church more often than I've been to a synagogue in the last 20 years.
I remember the feeling I had both times, even though in The Godfather, it's a baptism. No, it was a baptism. I was at a baptism. That's why it was the same thing. There's the famous scene in The Godfather where Michael and I think Kay, right, his wife, they're being the godparents.
Yeah.
And they're getting the "Do you renounce Satan and all his works?" They're getting all the stuff that you have to agree to. And then while it's happening, they're cutting to the Corleone family wiping out all their enemies. I thought of that both times. Both times I'm up there doing the thing. I'm just picturing that in the back of my head.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Like that's wonderful. Yeah, that's one of the great scenes, right? It's like this great juxtaposition scene in cinematic history of like it was the end of the first Godfather, right? That wasn't the last. Maybe it may have been the last scene. I don't remember, but it was very like it's amazing. Yeah, God, I love that movie. I haven't seen that movie in a few years. I gotta sit down and watch both of those. Have you ever seen the like they put the first two Godfathers, but they made them chronological?
Yeah, they used to show it on AMC a lot, and so I've never. It's one of those things I've never seen it from beginning to end. But I've stumbled upon it and started watching it, and it's one of those movies. And I know I've stumbled upon it and not realized that that's what they're doing until the first time they jump.
Well, right,
I'm like, and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, this is the 6 hour. This is the supercut, basically. Yeah, it's good. It works. It works really well.
Does it? Because the cool thing about the first Godfather is the cool thing about the second Godfather movie. Wait, which one was it when they cut to Vito to the Vito Corleone as a young man? Well, Michael goes to Italy. Yeah, Michael goes to Italy, and then the Robert De Niro character who plays Vito Corleone, right? The early years. Like that's a cool, like for me, that's a really cool juxtaposition of like
Well, that was one of the frustrations with Heat. Was the only time up until that point that De Niro and Pacino had been on the screen at the same time was literally in a scene in Godfather 2 when Coppola faded from one to the other, and for an instant they were both on the screen at the same time. So then Michael Mann shoots the famous diner scene, which is a great scene, but he never shows them both. You never see their face at the same time. You just see the back of one, the back of the other the entire time. And there were people that were like, geez, we're never going to get to see that.
Yeah.
But it is but at the end, I don't want to spoil Heat. It's only 25 years old for people that haven't seen it. When they're chasing each other, when Pacino's chasing De Niro around the airport, there are times when you see both of them.
Both of them,
both facing the camera at the same. So that doesn't really hold up. Then they made some awful movie together, some other like Righteous Kill or whatever. It was a terrible movie where they're in it together all the time, and it's like, okay, well that didn't work.
I don't know.
I don't know if you've seen the I haven't seen a trailer yet, but so they made a John Madden movie.
Okay, yeah.
And Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden.
It's very like I think I saw a picture of it.
Did you see Al Davis in the movie? Because I could not figure out who Al Davis was until I read. Because it looks a lot like Al. It's Christian Bale is playing Al Davis in the movie.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Oh, man, what they can do with makeup these days.
Yeah. Because I'm like, geez, that's a good Al. I wonder who that is. It must be just some, and then it's like, oh God, it's Christian Bale. Jesus.
Man, that'll be good.
I think so. I forget who's playing. I read the cast thing today. Then after I saw it, somebody is playing Trip Hawkins, who is like the guy at EA Sports who convinced Madden to put his name on, and then it ended up being. They were unprepared for how hands-on John Madden wanted to be with his own video. He didn't play video games. Right. He was like very insistent, like, no, it has to be 11 on 11. It's got to be real football. And they're like, we can't really do that. I mean, we do like 6 on. He's like, no, it's got to be 11 on 11. And they said a whole bunch of stuff that had never been done before, which was what made Madden like super popular at the beginning, only happened because John Madden just insisted. He didn't care. Well, you got to figure it out then. What do you mean you can't do
Yeah.
it? Don't have enough pixels. Who cares? Make some more pixels.
Right.
Well, it doesn't work that way, John.
Because up at that point, it was just like the premier football game was Tecmo Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what everybody played. And that was just, I mean, that was child's play. I remember when Madden came out. I was never a big gamer, but when Madden came out, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good game.
There was a Joe Montana football for like for Sega Genesis that talked. That was like a big deal.
Okay.
It said like 6 things or touchdown or whatever. And that was going to be the thing that was going to take that was going to take them down because, you know, Joe Montana much more popular than John Madden, and obviously it didn't take it down.
Wait, sorry. So when Madden football first came out, there was no announcer? Is that what you're saying? And then Joe Montana's game came out.
Know. I don't remember now. There's a documentary. It's on Prime, I think.
Okay.
I forget what it's on. About the making of Madden football. It's really good. And I don't remember the sequence.
Okay.
If it's the Joe Montana game came out later and then Madden had to figure out how to put the voice in it.
Okay.
Or it was already there and Madden's like, okay, people are like, but everybody's going to buy the Joe Montana one because he's Mr. Famous active quarterback. Nobody's going to take the old retired coach. But obviously the Madden game was so much better that it didn't matter.
Yeah, that was some. They still make it, right? They still do Madden.
Oh yeah,
right. EA Sports, yeah.
They'll take your $70 for last year's game with a new roster in it. That's basically.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like they don't really update. I mean, I don't know how much.
They change stuff, and every few years they claim, "Oh, look at this! We've completely redone." They've always fixed the running game. That's what they always claim every time, and you still get it, and you just fucking pass 97% of the time because it's impossible to run the ball. I don't mind this. So I have this thing called, a lot of people do. You subscribe to this thing called EA Play. Okay. I don't know what it costs anymore. It's not that expensive. It's like $80 or $90 a year. And so I can download any of the Electronic Arts games, but they don't for free. But for free, I already paid. But with this thing, but you have to wait. So like football season starts, the new Madden's out. You can either buy it and play it, or you can play last year's game, which you've already downloaded, and you can always go find a roster. Always. You know, you can play this year's rosters on last year's game. The only thing that is the schedule's wrong. It's the only thing, and who cares? Okay. You know, I'm a grown man. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
But I find that I don't even. There are years I don't even bother to download Madden. And when I was a kid, there's no way I would have thought I would ever do that if they were still making it. That I would just be like, hey, I don't want to play that.
Whatever. But can you change? Do you have control of the schedule where you could, like, if you wanted to, like, just recreate it, you know, this year?
I don't remember
this year's schedule, whatever it is, or like even with the I would imagine that the roster is the
seems like a lot of work. I'll just play I'll just play last year's Bears schedule with this year's team.
Okay.
There's probably a way to do it.
Okay. Because that's do you need a console to do that, or can you just do that? Can you stream it through something else? Is there like an app that you can download to your Samsung TV and do that?
I don't know. I mean, I know they make like a
console?
I know they obviously make console versions, they make a PC version. I don't know what else.
Right.
I'm sure there's a mobile version, but it's not the real. It's a bastardized.
It's not even the mobile version. Like I'm thinking, like, because I keep talking about buying.
Right, you're talking about like streamcasting just a game, which you can do with some games.
Right, because that's how I like the only thing. Like I always talk about. I've asked so many people about like what game console. And it's always either Nintendo or PlayStation, right? Whatever. But it's like I've asked so many people, and it's like the only thing I want to do is just play sports games, right? And EA, like other than the show is not EA, right? MLB The Show. That's not
that's its own thing.
Like, right. But like EA's got like, I mean, between FIFA and hockey and Madden, like that's
FIFA and Madden like are still like the two most popular games in the world.
I would imagine
they're doing fine.
But even the hockey would be cool to play. So the only thing would be baseball.
And it's not FIFA anymore because they had a rights dispute with FIFA. So it's like, but it's the same game. It's nobody cares.
Do they say about the players?
Yeah.
And that's really like that's kind of, and this might be sophomoric of me, but the only thing I really give a shit about is like that the players are like, remember like once in a while like you'd play a game and the player didn't give his likeness. And so you had
that was like the
some weird
famous
generic. Was it Michael
John
Jordan?
Dowd. Barry Bonds wouldn't sign the thing, and they named him after the Dowd Report guy instead. The guy, the Pete Rose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty clever.
Funny.
Actually.
Oh man. Oh, that's ooh, that stings. Wow, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, he was a big boy too. Had him all routed up. All roided up. All right. Well, I guess if we've made it to video game chat, we probably ought to wrap this up.
Do we have any other Cup stuff to talk about?
Let's see. We talked about. I did all the important stuff. We talked about Carlos Santana and Aaron Civale. I will be interested to see. I mean, I'm sure they were just giving Pete a night off.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Pete, I could stand to have Pete sit against lefties for a while.
Lefties?
He's struggling against everybody, but he's really struggling against lefties.
I think that there's a he's not going to get out of he's not going to learn how to hit lefties if you don't let him hit lefties.
Right, but there comes a point in your season where you're trying to make the playoffs.
Yes.
That I could see Craig picking some particular lefties and being like, you know what, Pete, maybe you come in the 6th tonight.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But I think that the floor is so high, and he's still it's weird to talk about it. I don't know. He's not awful. I guess he's been bad, but he's hit lefties a little bit this year, right? He's not Michael Bush against lefties.
No, he's pretty bad. And it's gotten it's really bad right now. Like early in the season, he was handling them, but he hasn't lately.
Do you think that that's why they switched out Casey for Alcantara?
I do think that's why
just so he could play center field. And
I think part of it was if you're gonna have an old unathletic bench, you probably want the guy you probably want an outfielder on the bench that can play all 3 spots instead of right and left like Casey.
An old young guy.
I think with Santana, they felt like we added I think they're basically going to use him as a left-handed bat, so they take the right-handed hitting outfielder instead, so they could play matchups. And I do think their plan maybe it's just to give Pete a rest, but you could play Willie Castro in center. He's not a disaster there. But he's also not doing it. Plus, I kind of wonder too if they got to a point where Jed is like, okay, well, he's not playing Owen.
Yeah,
maybe Owen should go get some at bats because you can always switch him back.
I'm sure that's what it is.
Send him to Iowa, let him get regular bats, and then if you need him, you can. It's 12 hours later, he's back and he's playing. That's probably it.
Well, I don't think it's not necessarily once you send him down, unless there's an injury, he's got to stay down for 10 days.
Right, but I mean, 10 days from now, if you need him, or if God forbid, what if Ian Happ gets caught in the net like Eloy? You just put him on the injured list, and then you can bring Owen Casey back.
There you go. Yes, I do think now that you mentioned it, I do think that makes some sense. Is at least with Alcantara, there's more flexibility, more athleticism. He's probably not the hitter that Owen Casey is. Certainly, I don't think he's the hitter that Owen Casey is. But at least you can spell PCA against lefties, tough lefties or otherwise. Yeah, all right, I could see that. I don't know, I don't know how good. Obviously, he's not PCA in center field, but I don't know how good. If Alcantara is at least better defender, then you could. If that gap's not that big, then you can sort of.
Yeah, I mean, and Pete.
You can live with it.
Pete does it because he's not a good center fielder. He's a great center fielder. He's probably the best defensive player in baseball.
Probably.
So even when he's not hitting, he has tremendous amount of value.
Yes.
I mean, the catch he made yesterday, he's the only guy in the league that can make that catch. He's the only guy that would have caught it.
Yes.
Here he is against lefties this year. 188, 218, 388, 52 strikeouts and 160 at bats. It's actually fewer strikeouts than I thought he was going to have.
Okay.
So it's been pretty bad, and I can't break it down with this, but I think he was better earlier. So I think he's been really bad.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Right.
I think he's been really bad to get to this. But so it could just be he gets so frustrated.
Yes.
He is firing helmets and bats and all kinds of shit.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, Pete, you got to,
Well,
this is a game of failure. You don't have. I don't want to see it accepted all the time, but you can't get pissed every fucking time that you strike out. And I kind of wonder if they're like, yeah, maybe we get a little less failure for Pete for a little while.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, it's because all things considered, you're still in pretty good shape from a playoff perspective. You're still 20 games over 500. You're in a good spot, so you can afford to sort of figure these things out on the fly, right, as you go. It's not like it's not a struggling Kyle Tucker and a struggling Santa, struggling PCA all at the same time in August.
Yeah.
It's now, or in July even, like now you've got a little bit of runway to kind of begin to figure this stuff out and let Alcantara play. But all right, I can see that.
I say all this, and then the way Craig has played things this year, Pete will start the next 18 games in a row.
It is hard to sit him, but I see what you're saying. And he
just doesn't really use his bench
value. No,
and I get it. Like, although the great Vidal Brujan is currently playing third base for the Braves, he just came into the game.
Yeah, is that right? All right.
I guess when your bench has Vidal on it and John Birdie, and he might be less inclined to use it.
Yeah, he's got some guys he can trust, and even Turner against lefties has been good. Yeah, you got whatever. Like I said, you could try things. You could give guys a rest now that we're to the point where their magic numbers went down to 15 or something like that to clinch a playoff spot. Like you could clinch a playoff spot in the next 2 weeks. You don't have to win every game, right? But you could clinch a playoff spot by.
It's funny.
Say the 20th of September. So you're all right.
I forget who I replied to. I think it was probably Praz. He was freaking out about the Cubs giving another game away, and it's like, oh yeah, at this rate, you're gonna miss the playoffs altogether. And I just replied to him, no one is chasing them.
Yeah.
There is not. We know the playoff teams in the National League. It's just what order. Like the Reds didn't make the run everybody thought they were. They looked poised to make it, and they just didn't do it. And it's the only thing is it
the Mets, Padres, and Cubs.
Is it going to be the Dodgers or the Padres that win the West?
Yes. Yeah.
And then what order do the 3 wildcard teams finish? That's all they're playing for in the National League. The 6 teams are in. We know who's making it. It's all about seeding.
You're right. There's really not. The Reds are in 4th place in the wild card, right?
Yeah, and they'd lost like 6 in a row or something. It was bad.
Yeah. That's kind of what makes this format a little annoying.
The Reds are 5 games behind the Mets for the last spot.
Yeah.
What do we got? Like 20 some games to go. It's over.
Yeah. It's that's what makes this a little bit annoying. And I think you made this point. If you're going to have this many playoff teams, I don't know if this is the point that you were trying to make, but if you're going to have this many playoff teams, move back to the trade deadline, because having it, especially if you're not going to have the waiver trade line, because now like you're pretty set, and now you've got teams that are sort of, like they thought they were in it on July 31st. Now it's a month later, and they're definitely not in it, right? And they're probably out of it 3 weeks into August. And so now I get that you've got a little bit more optimism about making the playoffs, and there is something to be said for that. But it's just a brutal way now to go about. Like if you look at the Phillies, right? Granted, you're not replacing Zach Wheeler, but if I was a Phillies fan, like it's painful. It's just painful. Like you lose Zach Wheeler in August. Yeah. It's like there's no shot at replacing. No. There's no shot at trade. Like that's just annoying. It's just, and I know that it just as easily could happen on September 15th as August 15th. I get it, but it's like give yourself a chance.
Well,
give the teams a chance.
It's not. It's 2 things. When they added the playoff team, then you're going to have more teams in it, so you should push the deadline back. But they also got rid of the August trades, so there's nothing. I mean, well, I guess the Cubs showed you can get Carlos Santana and Aaron Civale.
And Civale, yeah.
But yeah, they should have just pushed it back. It didn't make any sense to me. You think they would want to do it? And the other reason I think it's going to happen, and it's going to happen for a weird reason. It's going to happen. Major League Baseball teams are all pissed off at the trade deadline now is too close to the draft. When they move the draft to the All-Star, so teams, you only have X amount of scouts, and most teams, including the Cubs, are cutting back on the number of scouts that they actually employ. So they're trying to prep for 2 big things all at once.
Right.
Because you've only got like 10 or 11 days after the All-Star break before the trade deadline, and you just had the draft.
Yeah.
And so I think their whole thing is, all right, fine. If you want the draft to happen during the All-Star break, so you can have it on TV that nobody watches, then push the trade deadline back so we can finish the draft stuff, and then we can shift into, like a month's worth of getting ready for trades instead of a week, instead of a crash course in less than 2 weeks. So I do think it'll happen. I think they'll move it back to the 15th of August.
But I also think that teams are prepping, like teams take all year to prep for the trade deadline, right? They know, they have a good sense of other teams' farms. Like this isn't,
well,
they have a good sense of other teams' farms. Like what blows my mind, honestly, is football. Like keeping track of 53 players plus practice squads plus all of these other players down to the point of who fits your system and who doesn't. That is maddening to me.
Well,
that I can't wrap my brain around.
Why
but that's also why you have 46 coaches.
Yes. Yeah. Ryan Poles will tell you it's tough. In theory, it shouldn't matter in baseball because you've got amateur scouts and you've got your pro scouts.
Yeah.
But good teams will say, like the Rays and the Dodgers will say, you like to use them to kind of cross-check each other.
Yeah.
You've got your pro scouts who are looking at pro players, but you do want them to take a look at some of the prospects and weigh in. Like, does you think this guy projects? And then the opposite, you want that to happen. And then some clubs just don't have very many scouts. They've just decided they don't want to pay that many guys.
Right.
So they literally have them doing both at the same time, which is insane.
Yeah. It's funny. I was having a text chat about Moneyball. Like I still think the message of or the point of Moneyball gets missed sometimes. But I'm still having this chat with this one guy about like scouts versus stats, and I think that access to more of the pitch by pitch statistics, spin rates, things like that, actually is bringing back the importance of scouting a lot more. Which is the other annoying thing about the Cubs is that like now you have to it's not just about seeing a number on the screen. Now it's all about like what is the tweak that you have to make to somebody or somebody's mechanics or somebody's swing or whatever it is. So now you need scouts even more in order to figure that out. It's not just results based anymore. It's how do you get to those results that matter. And so now you get to the point where you need a robust scouting department in order to identify these things, like because that's where the market and efficiency really is, right? It's in that, like, how do you take a player who doesn't have great results? Like, look at Cade Horton. Like, Cade Horton is pretty much the perfect example. Like, he had terrible results in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Then he had a surgery. Then he had terrible results. And then something happened, some tweak happened, and boom, there it goes. Like Wake Forest, I think Vanderbilt, both of those are like famous for their pitching.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a pitching lab or whatever the fuck they have, right? But their pitching infrastructure, and it's just about making that tweak to somebody's something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you unlock all of this potential.
The important thing, as maligned as I like to make the Cubs minor league system and their Dan Kantrovitz, that was a really inspired pick because they looked at him. He was really only good in the College World Series. And he added a curveball like right before that.
Something like that.
He threw the shit out of it and he was really good.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of teams who were like, well, we haven't seen that enough. We're not going to. And the Cubs were like, this is guy, if he played one more year at Oklahoma, would be like a top 3 pick. We'll just take him right now.
Yep.
And it was really smart and it's worked.
Yeah.
And your point, I think your point is exactly right. One of the problems and where the Dodgers do it right and the other teams don't is the Dodgers are like, okay, we want people who can. We've got people who can collect the data.
Yes.
We need people who can actually analyze the data.
Yes.
And then we need like traditional scouts who can figure out what players can actually apply it. Because you can look at a guy's like pitch numbers. Little Lance Brodzowski can give you all the stats. But that doesn't mean the player can actually make the adjustment that you tell. All you got to do is this. Well, not everybody can do that.
That's right.
That thing might be, I can't fucking do that. I can't,
Yep.
And where the Dodgers have unsurprisingly cleaned up, it's so of the Rays, as teams have gotten rid of some of their scouts, the Dodgers and Rays go poach the best ones, and they just keep adding 100%. To their staff.
Yes.
And their staff, they're actually increasing the separation because they do all the other stuff. They have their stupid little magic cameras and all that stuff, and they've got stuff. But they're not just like, well, let's throw 4 more bodies at it. They look at a team like the Cubs get rid of scouts, and they're like, well, these 2 guys are really good. We'll just hire them. And they add quality, not just quantity to things. It doesn't make any sense. The Cubs have so many advantages that they just refuse to take. And this is one of them. Like they have enough capital that they should be exactly like the Dodgers in this case, which is we buy all the stupid analytical equipment that we can get our hands on, and we hire as the best analysts we can find, and we still have all of our regular scouts. And that's what Jed's job, right, is to sit in the middle and like figure out, okay, you handle this, tell us what you think, and then I have to figure out what makes sense and what doesn't. Instead, they look at it like, oh, we could save a lot of money if we don't do this. The most infuriating thing they talked about at Cub Convention was they said they weren't going to send scouts they weren't going to have in-person scouts at like the Midwest League, the Florida State League, and like the Southern League anymore. They were only going to have them at AAA and then in like the Complex League and the Dominican League. And so they asked Carter, who talks way too much, and he's like, oh no, we have cameras in those parks. We don't need scouts there. We can get all the data we need. And it's like, that's not the fucking point. Why don't you have both? You're the Cubs. You should have both, not one or the other.
I agree with you. Although to be fair, and I think there's a little bit of this, the cameras and the amount of cameras that they have now at all of these different ballparks and all, like, there's a lot there that gets captured. There's a lot of data that comes
There's a lot of
back from it.
data, but I would like them, because they have money, to also have some asses in the seats who see the stuff, who see the other things. That they're not just measuring what the ball is doing. Or the swing plane. They're actually looking at the player.
At the mechanics of the player, at the swing path, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I also think that the nature of what a scout's job has changed, right? It's no longer about, oh, this guy just runs really fast, or this guy looks like a ball player, whatever it is, right? Now it's, this guy is where he is now, whatever level he's at now. If we make this, like, it looks like if we make this tweak, he can be a little bit better. You go talk to the guy to see if he's capable of being coached to make that tweak, if he's capable of doing the training to make it second nature, and boom, you unlock it. And that's where things happen. So I think that the nature of scouting has changed. And to be fair to the Cubs, being analytical and having analytics department and having these databases and having all of this data, that's not unique anymore. That's not like everybody does that. Right, the Cubs pitch lab, it may or may not be like, you make fun of it, and there's a lot there's a lot there to make fun of, or critique at the very least. But like, I don't know that that's necessarily a unique thing for them anymore.
No, it's not. Everybody's got it.
Everybody's got it now, right? Everybody's got the old drive line thing with all the cameras and all the sensors and whatever the fuck else they do, and the slow motion. Like, that's not, technology isn't, like we always talk about it when we talk, in my industry, when we talk about AI and data and stuff like that. Like, everybody has access to the same technology. People, right? It's people, process, technology. People are no longer, like, you can hire offshore people for cheap, right? People, you don't gain an advantage, a market advantage in the people, unless you fire everybody and you focus on cameras and things like that. But the process is where it matters, and how do you teach players to make a change? It's not an accident that that Jackson Ferris and Zaire Hope go to the Dodgers and all of a sudden become top 10 or top 20, whatever they are, prospects, right? It's not that the Dodgers knew what they were looking at. They knew what tweaks they had to make to unlock potential of these players. And now, that's not to say that the Cubs couldn't have done it, because the Cubs are pretty good at doing that also. But the Dodgers
knew what they were giving up too.
Right. The Cubs knew what they were giving up, but the Dodgers also knew what they were getting, and specifically probably asked for those players based on these things that aren't just, this guy has a 3 ERA, so therefore he's good or not good or whatever. So I just thought results is how you get to those results that matter.
Well, and it's
showing your work.
So the Dodgers, Boog always talks about how the Cubs were smart to go get a guy who was blocked so he could help them
Sure.
right away. And that's
Sure.
true.
Yes.
The Dodgers were reaping the benefit of having excess prospects, right? Like they had Michael Busch, who was a good player, but they didn't have a spot for him because they had prospects around the team. Plus they had gone out, they bought Freddie Freeman and they'd done all this other stuff. And you could look at it as the Cubs giving up a really good young, potentially good arm to get first baseman is a failure of their own system to not be able to develop their own first baseman.
Yes. Like imagine a world where Matt Shaw was blocked at the major league level and you could go out and get Mackenzie Gore. Or go out and get somebody for him that's right. Like imagine that scenario.
Yeah.
Or not even Mackenzie. Like imagine if having a play like Mike. Let's the baseline here is Michael Busch is a good ball player, right? He's a perfectly fine. He's a good ball player. He's a major league ball player, maybe even an all-star. He's good. Imagine that being extra on your team in your organization to the point where you can go out and even get a couple of prospects who are 3 years away and be able to make all-stars out of these prospects. And maybe maybe by the time that Zaire Hope gets the major league level or is ready, he's going to be blocked. And the Dodgers just do it again.
He apparently was one of the guys the Dodgers were looking for pitching, and that's one of the guys they were willing to give up to get. They were already ready to flip.
Oh yeah, yes,
Zaire Hope.
Yeah. Like you, and that's the thing, right? It's not this loss of money. It's not this kind of it's not a sunken cost. You develop the player in order you've made this point before. You develop the player, you develop prospects so that you can use them in one of two ways. They either help your major league team by playing for them, or they help your major league team by being traded for good players. And so it's okay if they turn out to be good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
right? It's a good thing that you trade away good prospects.
Right. And it's a thing fans tend to freak out when you trade a player and he ends up being good for somebody else. Well, that was the whole idea. So like if Cam Smith, who got off to a rocky start, looked really good and now he looks bad again. He's probably going to be a good player for the Astros.
He'll be a fine ball player, yeah.
That's not a bad outcome for the Cubs.
Yeah, it's great. It's fine.
Because if every prospect you trade away sucks, the value of your prospects all drop. Teams are like, we're going to get another one of these failed assholes from the Cubs. You need some of them to hit. Now, if one of them turns into a superstar, you probably screwed that up because that's a guy you should have hung on to and traded somebody else. But if they just become good players and it also depends who you get back for them. So like if the Cubs who got Kyle Tucker for him, if the Cubs manage to keep Kyle, then you don't care.
Right.
If Cam Smith becomes a 5-WAR player for the next 10 years, you got at least as good or probably a better player who could help you immediately for him. You won. You did fine. If you didn't win the trade, you certainly didn't lose it. And I always say the exception to that was for whatever reason, the Cubs were one of the big problems for this. In the 90s, the Braves could trade pitching prospects for anything they wanted. And only one of them, literally, only one of them was ever good, Jason Schmidt.
Yeah.
Every other pitching prospect they traded sucked. And the Cubs got a bunch of them.
Well, Joey Nation.
Yes. Joey Nation, Micah Bowie, Ruben Quevedo, Yorkis Perez. I mean, it was amazing. And now, granted, some of it was, especially when I look back and looked at some of the trades, some of it was Jim Hendry basically some of the trades were minor trades.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, what would they get for Damon Berryhill? And it was an after September trade. When Donahue and I had to figure out why the hell it happened. It happened because the Braves had an injury and they needed a catcher just to finish the season because they were still battling with whoever in the division. And they threw the Cubs a couple of pitching prospects. And Hendry's probably like, well, if you're going to take one from somebody, you might as well take a Brave. They at least been coached right. Maybe they'll work out. So some of it was just him going to the organization that knew how to develop pitching and taking flyers on some of these guys. But there were a lot of teams, and the Cubs did it a couple of times, who were like, John Schwarholtz was like, oh, look at this guy. Take him. And they're like, oh, gimme. And it's off quoted by me, but it was one of the funniest things Steve Stone ever said. Steve, during a broadcast one time, when one of the Cub pitchers was getting blown up, he goes, if the Braves call you and offer you one of their pitchers, hang up.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it. You're not getting anything. Just stop it.
Like I will say this, the other side of that equation though is if you are an organization who is really bad at developing players, right? Like you're not good at developing players. I think that there is also something to be said about teams looking at that and going, well, I'm gonna trade for this guy from this bad organization because I think I can do a better job and unlock something. Again, this is where scouting comes in.
Yep.
I know Andrew Vaughn's coming back to earth, but that's kind of part of that, right? It's like, the Brewers going, well, if we can get this guy, like I think that this team is just really bad at developing players and they didn't do the right thing. And I don't know what Andrew Vaughn has done, or I don't know if he's changed his swing or there's a hitch, whatever it is.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, right? But like there's something to be said for that also. I think that no matter what, everything has to happen on a case by case basis. Like I don't think it really matters all that much. Like the fact that Steve Avery was good, I don't know that had as much of an effect on Joey. Like, and back then it was a different world, right? You didn't have the same technology, you didn't have the same data that you have now. So I think that now even more so, I don't know that we can make those types of connections, right? Like an organization is just an organization. You look at a player, you scout a player, you say, hey, these guys aren't unlocking this from this player. We think we can make this tweak, and boom, now the player gets unlocked.
I would say one of the things that has changed dramatically is, this seems ridiculous to look back on it this way, but this was a real thing. The Peter Gammon's Sunday column in the Boston Globe. He would get information, especially from the Red Sox. It was the Boston Globe. He covered the Red Sox all the time, but he was the national baseball writer. We talked to everybody else. There were certain GMs who would basically who would trump up their own prospects to him.
Yeah.
And he would write about them. And other teams who didn't have sophisticated scouting would be like, oh, I've heard of that guy. The Red Sox and other teams could literally just float bullshit to Pete, and he would write it, and then the value would go up. And it's not that much different than they were talking about like one of the first NFL drafts. And a couple of the teams showed up with a Street and Smith's college football preview from the year before. And that's what they were using to by the 6th or 7th round, they were literally like going through the preseason All-America list and going, what about this guy? Is he still available? And that's how they were picking players. That's not that. I mean, that might be 40 years ago, but that's not. Well, I've been doing that now. It's not that long ago that the teams They didn't even take some of this shit that seriously. Like, whatever.
Right. Yeah, but I will say this. I can be 99.9% confident that doesn't happen.
No,
either of those scenarios.
No, I hope not. But it even gets back to like the Cardinals during their glory days back in like the 40s. They had more minor league affiliates than anybody else because there wasn't a limit. There was no 40-man roster. There was no whatever. Right. And they would just bringing in people they would just sign anybody and they just sift through them. That was Branch Rickey before he was with the Dodgers, with the Cardinals. And he's like, okay, but you're just sifting through bodies because they were just willing to spend the money to have all these, like, there were like Class D leagues and F leagues, and some of these guys were making like $50 a week, and they didn't. They're playing pro. All these people, there's a whole generation of people. Oh, my grandpa played minor league baseball. Yeah, anybody that fucking wanted to could play back then.
Yeah,
and then they finally tightened that up. So there've always been organizations that were willing to just like they were basically looking at an inefficiency, which was, it's really hard to find minor league players. Why don't we just give ourselves a lot more shots at it? We'll have 15 minor league affiliates. Who gives a shit? Most of these guys are never going to make it past the F league or whatever, but one of them might be good. And then it's all worth it.
It's like a tryout. It's like why teams have tryouts, right? It's like, you're just having a tryout. But hey, one guy shows something, like boom, there you go. Yeah. And it's sort of like we were talking about it before we started recording. Like the way that you get to a really good idea is by having a ton of ideas, right? You don't just come up with one good idea, just have a ton of ideas, and 98% of them are going to be terrible ideas, but you're just looking for that one great idea. And that's the power, or that's where somebody like the Cubs could show their financial muscle. It's sort of exactly what Theo Epstein wanted to do with the international signings, right?
Yep.
Like that's exactly what it was. It's like you just go out and you just there's no salary. You go out and you get a bunch of players. Who cares if you give them $2 million and they don't work out? It's kind of what the Cubs are doing now. It's a lot of the international stuff now. Just there's a cap on
There's
it.
a cap,
But the Cubs are signing $4 million players that aren't like they signed this guy Fernando Cruz last year. He's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You give him $4 million. Like, hey, maybe it'll come out. But in the long run, that $4 million go a long way. And it's not about that $4 million. It's about spending $10 million. And if you got one player with $100 million, then you're making up for it.
Yeah, no, that's funny because I was thinking of that same thing. I mean, Theo, when he agreed to come to the Cubs, he had a basic plan, which was, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend like crazy in the international market. We're just going to take flyers on as many guys as we can get. And then during the season, we are going to trade for prospective free agents, as many as we can get. Because when we don't sign them, when they sign with somebody else, we'll get a draft pick. And that was their whole plan. They were going to do all this stuff. And literally the winter after he takes the job, they redo the CBA and all that gets eliminated. You know, a player acquired in season no longer has draft pick compensation attached to him. So that idea is out the window. Here's the international bonus pool cap. You can only spend this amount. So they had 1 year where they could do that. And they got Jorge Soler and Gleyber Torres.
And Eloy Jimenez. They signed Torres and Jimenez in the same international signing period.
They were the top
two. They were literally the top two. That's and it was a wonderful idea, and it worked for a year, right? Like I mean, they got a World Series.
Then the rug got pulled out from under him.
Yeah.
Which one of the things that's crazy to me is looking back, there were these people. I mean, most famously Al Yellen and Hub Arkush, who couldn't believe how long the rebuild was taking. You know, Al wrote that Theo, how long must we wait article, which we made fun of every day for 5 years. Yeah. And Hub, after the 2014 season, gave up his season tickets because the Cubs weren't going anywhere. They hired Theo in October of 2011.
Yeah.
They were the best team in baseball in the second half of 2015.
Yeah.
When they went on that ridiculous roll to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was 4 years.
That was amazing. Yeah.
It was 3 seasons. 2012, 2013, 2014. That's 100%. All we waited. And they were really they were terrible on purpose in 2012. Like they were literally like, they were making sure they lost as many games as possible. And they were pretty bad still in 13, but by 14, they were Jake was up. Javi made his debut in 14. Like you could start to see it. Like holy shit, they've actually started. Anybody
who saw what they were doing, anybody who paid attention to the draft in the minor leagues. I know you make it's easy to be a prospect, but anybody who paid attention to what they were doing, you see this plan coming together, and it's happening now. Not to get off too much off the subject, but that's sort of what's happening now with the Blackhawks. Is that like anybody who's paying attention to what Kyle Davidson is doing? He's doing much of he's accumulating all these first-round draft picks. He's got a ton of players. There's probably 20 players who might be NHL players that he's got. And if a couple of them actually develop and work out, like, holy shit, you got yourself some. Never mind about getting the number 1 pick and lucking into that. It's sort of the same way that Theo lucked into Arrieta, right? Like, granted, it may have been that tweak or what I was talking about before that he saw in Arrieta. But I mean, come on. And so like, if you see, like, I can't imagine giving up Blackhawks season tickets now. That'd be similar to what Hub did in 2014, right? Like, I can't imagine, like you can see this team, and it still might be a few years because it's hockey and it takes a little bit longer than in baseball, but like you could see this plan coming together. It's frankly, it's the same thing that Poles did, right? Like, it's just, you could kind of see these things just all sort of coming together. And in football, it might be a little bit more difficult. It might be a little bit more variance. I'm not sure what it is. But like, all you do is you pay attention and you kind of like, without being explicit about it, there's a plan there. And that's all that you want.
Okay.
And this is what's frustrating about the current Cubs team is that I don't know that they have a plan. I don't know what that plan is. Right, I don't know what they're trying to do, how they're going to win. How they're trying to win.
They seem to signal into this going all in this year when they make the Tucker trade, and then they did nothing after that signaled that. Then they completely backed off. Like, ooh, that was enough. So you bring up polls reminded me of something I want to talk about. But before that, I want to talk about the prospect pervert thing, because to me I make fun of the prospect perverts because they still act like the Cubs have. Like their minor leagues have Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Addison Russell,
yeah,
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yes.
Every team has to have a top 4 prospects because you rank them. But that doesn't mean that those 4 are anywhere good as the 4 you had. And
at one point,
that's why I make fun of them, because they just act like, well, look how good Chris Bryant was. Yes, they'll never happen again. That's a once in a lifetime thing.
And that's it. They lucked into Chris Bryant because the Astros took Mark Appel.
They got too smart, and they've
like you see, like that's sort of the thing, is that you need a little bit of luck. And sorry, you're going to get to a polls thing, to your polls point. But like the thing about it is that at one point, the Cubs in 2014 had like 4 of the 20 top prospects. Like, it wasn't, to your point, it wasn't just like they have top, like Kevin Alcantara is not anything.
What the Red Sox have been calling up lately is that's the equivalent of because you bring Roman Anthony and Sedane Rafael and the weird looking pitcher that they brought up, who I hope is really good. He's crazy. He's this fat curly haired kid who's apparently really good. But everybody acts like, well, those are the top 4 prospects, and yes, they're really good. Your 4 don't have to be anywhere near as good as those 4 are. And
what was your polls thing?
It's funny because somebody was gloating about, well, look at the Rafael Devers trade. That didn't hurt Boston at all. It's like, honestly, if they just handled Devers the way they should have, they'd have him and them. They should not have had to have traded him away. It's stupid. Like, he's gone nuts. And today, apparently, while we're recording, he hit a home run in Colorado.
Yes, he did.
And he took such a slow start to his thing that they had a benches clearing brawl on the field while he was running around the bases.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. He's been on a heater ever since the Cubs went to San Francisco.
Yes.
He's been unbelievable. And the other thing people don't talk about is he has a bulging disc in his back.
Yeah.
That the Giants have kind of figured out. That's why he was bad when he first got there. It had just happened. And they basically told him, like, we can do this, and then we'll probably get you through the rest of the season. Then we can really address it in the offseason. You'll be fine. And he said, okay. And ever since they did that, nobody can get him out. It's unbelievable. But this whole idea that, well, the Red Sox really took off because they traded it. No, he should be the DH on the team with all these other guys. They fucked that up, but that's fine.
Yes.
No, the polls thing I wanted to, I was talking to somebody today about, they were like, what are your expectations for Caleb this year? And my expectation is that the Chicago media is going to drive me fucking nuts this year because there's a process, right? Like, I expect Caleb to get better as the year goes on, but anytime he has a bad game, or honestly, he had like the one bad play against Kansas City where he took a sack, and people fucking lost their mind. Oh my God, it's just like last year. I was like, geez, one fucking play. But anyway, I was talking about that, and I said they have the right coach. They got the coach we all wanted. This was the thing that really irritates me about it is the media spent all last year going, well, the Cubs, why didn't they get a guy like Ben Johnson? Because Caleb needs to be coached hard. He needs to be challenged. He's got to struggle his way, and then he's going to learn how to do it. So they'd make the move, and then Ben does all the things. And then Caleb doesn't look like Tom Brady from day one. And they get, no, it's not going to work. It's like, shut up. The Poles thing I want to talk about was, because you talked about it. So the first year with him and Flus, Poles was actively like pulling people off the roster. Like he traded Khalil Mack.
Yes.
He traded Robert Quinn. Every time the Flus thought he started to put his defense together, they're taking his best players. Roquan gets traded. Because the whole goal was, we need to lose games this year. And then he makes the great trade. He makes the great trade. And then in this next year, the Bears win 7 games, some of them by, smoke and mirrors. And the trade has worked out, and now they have the number 1 pick, and they know they're going to take the quarterback. And Poles didn't do the thing Theo didn't have any problem doing. Like, the play then was, thank you, Matt. You did a nice job. But we're going to draft the number 1. We're going to draft quarterback number 1 overall. We're going to go get Ben Johnson to be our coach. And Ben Johnson basically said, I would have taken the Bear job that year. It's the only job I would have taken. And they didn't do it because, well, they just won 7 games and he's a nice guy. And look, maybe we can make it work this way. But, Poles needed to send his equivalent, a Jed, to ring the doorbell. I'm sure Flus would be out at the apiary working on his bees, and they'd have to like bring him to the door. They needed to do it last year. But they didn't. But they did it this year. You know, everything's in place a year later.
Yes.
But it's there. Like, and then he didn't fix the offensive line. He thought he did. He kind of patched it together last year. Well, this year they didn't fuck around. They're like, okay,
fuck on. Yeah,
we're gonna fix it for real.
Yep.
And I'd rather have it a year late than have it never happen.
Of course.
And I also don't think. Sorry, I'm talking over you. But I also don't think nothing happened to Caleb last year that is going to irreparably damage him.
The dude threw for 3,600 yards. It's not like and 25 or 28 touch or whatever it was. Like he's not. It was disappointing, and it was unfortunate last year, but you have a franchise quarterback. And granted, maybe this year you kind of redo the rookie year. So now maybe you're a year behind in that. Maybe this year's kind of a lot of learning curve. Ben Johnson's offense. Now you've got, last year was just whatever. It just didn't matter. Maybe you waste a year. Maybe you didn't. Whatever. You still have Caleb Williams. He's still fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like this guy is a good quarterback. He's a really, really good quarterback. And so now you've done what you had to do. I don't know. Are they going to catch the Packers or the Vikings or the Lions? Whatever. Like I think they'll be better than the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to be that good. But I don't give a shit about Micah Parsons. But it's like I like this is a good Bears team who should be all right this year. But you're not looking for a Super Bowl contender, right? Next year, and you may have to make some changes next year. I don't know what whatever it is. Pretty much the whole team's coming back. Pretty much the whole team is here for 3 years.
Yeah,
you have a 3-year window where you have Montez Sweat. Maybe he's a disappointment, whatever. But you have Montez Sweat for 3 more years. You've got DJ Moore for 4 more years. You've got these guys who are, Edmonds might be gone after this year, but you've got sort of these guys who are here. The core is here, and now you build around the core. And the other thing that I think Poles did really well that we kind of talked about both Davidson doing and what Theo did or tried to do was he's got a lot of players that are going to be NFL football players who are pretty good players. Like even Braxton Jones, right? He 5th round pick.
Well, that's funny.
Starting your left tackle. He probably won't be back next year, right? Because he'll just leave as a free agent. Somebody will pay him. But he's a perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's a fine ball player.
It's funny. He's fine. So last year everybody rightly lamented how terrible the offensive line was.
Yeah.
But the offensive line, until Braxton got hurt, was bad from guard to guard.
Yes.
Darnell Wright's fine and Braxton's fine. Like they didn't have a tackle problem. So they went out and they got a Hall of Fame left guard. They got the best center and free agency, and then they got a Pro Bowler right guard. They just took care of it. And now what is the media talking about? Oh, they didn't fix left tackle. It's like they didn't have to fix left tackle.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's nice. Like I think that not to turn this to a podcast too much. I think now the luxury that you have is that you can actually now worry about getting better a left tackle instead of settling for a pretty good left tackle. Now you could actually see if Ozzie Trapillo is the guy. I mean, you have the luxury now of seeing if you can get better at a position that you're pretty good at, as opposed to trying to dig yourself out of a hole.
Right. And I also I feel like you've got a coach who, if your left tackle is not, if that's the weak link of your offense, plays will be designed to limit how much damage having a leaky left tackle can actually do, which they were incapable of doing with Etsy and Waldron and Thomas Jones, or what was it?
Yeah.
Brown.
Was it Thomas Brown? Yeah.
Thomas Jones is a former Super Bowl running back for the Bears.
Yes. But that's the thing, is that like you see sort of this plan coming together, and you can make, like I said, I keep saying, you can make the argument that's a year too late. Not too late. It's a year later than it should have been. But whatever. Like we are where we are now. And I've got, naively, I've got high hopes, and I think Caleb Williams is a 4,000-yard passer, and I think that it just might take a little bit for the complications of complexity of Ben Johnson's offense to come
Yeah.
together, maybe, right?
And it's hard to
And it's
tell
something
because he did the thing that you wanted him to do, which was he put everything in. And he basically challenged not just Caleb, but the rest of the offense. Like, we're going to put everything in, and then we're going to figure out what we do well. And then that's what we'll focus on. You're going to struggle with some of this stuff. If you didn't, we'd be the greatest football team of all time. If I put everything in and we could run every play, well, hell, we don't even need to have the season. Just give us the trophy.
Right.
And so, but that's why it would piss me off when the Chicago media, which has nothing better to do. I mean, they go to practice, they don't quite know what they're seeing. They let in for they see a half hour of it, and they have to write a bunch. And then if you're Chuggo, you have to do like 6 podcasts that day and talk about it. And they're talking about, oh, it's really struggling, and it's really whatever. And it's like I don't know what to do with this information because you don't know what you're looking at.
Well, not only that, but if your expectation is that there's not going to be any struggle when you have a Ben Johnson, it's not an easy offense.
You wouldn't have needed him then.
Yeah, it sounded like he came into the Lions in year 1. They were amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it took him. I'm trying to think. With the year he took over as offensive coordinator, then they started 0-8, I think. Like, the Bears aren't going to do that. I think that was the season where just about the time that you felt like the Lions were starting to like figure it out. They had the Thanksgiving game where they were going to beat the Bills, and the guy made like the 64-yard field goal to beat them. And they're just standing there like, what the hell do we ever have to do to win a game? Like, we can't even, the guy sets a record for the longest field goal and we lose. And then all of a sudden they were pretty good. And then they go into Green Bay on the last day of the season, and they knock the Packers out of the playoffs. And then they show up the next year and they're good. They're like a legitimately good team.
So here's the thing, and maybe I'm misremembering, somebody can correct me, but Goff is going to his 4th year as a line, right? 3 years, like he's been 3 full years as a line. Am I right about that? Yeah, because the Rams won the Super Bowl with Stafford 3 years ago. So yeah, he must be going in 4th year. And I'm pretty sure that he sucked in year 1. He was
This
bad.
Is year 5 for Goff.
Okay, 5 of Goff. Okay. So and Johnson was the offensive coordinator for the last 3 years or 4 years. Was he the offensive coordinator? Did he come into with Goff as the offensive coordinator? I don't know. It doesn't matter. My point being is that even Goff was bad, if I remember correctly, was bad in his first year in Detroit. And then, like, because he was written off, like the Lions were going to take a quarterback, if I remember right. And then you just figure it out because you figure out the offense because it's not an easy offense, and then you're off and running. Well, Caleb Williams is better than Jared Goff. Like, he's got more talent. He can do more things than Goff can do. They're just building this thing, and they've got a head start in building this thing.
So
this is the first year, and they'll be whatever it is.
In Goff's first year, which I believe was Dan Campbell's first year.
Okay.
Anthony Lynn was the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
And Ben Johnson was the tight end coach. And so then they switched that. So 22, 23, and 24 were Ben Johnson.
Okay, so
and
3 years.
There's a market improvement immediately when he takes over.
Immediately, okay. So we'll see what happens this year. But Goff is a veteran. Caleb is going to his 2nd year.
Yeah, so like in 2021, Goff played 14 games, threw for 3,200 yards. 2022, Ben Johnson takes over. He throws for 4,438 yards.
Yeah. And
so 1,200 more yards in 3 more games. So
yeah.
It's a
dramatic.
dramatic.
I mean, he's a veteran.
His touchdowns jumped way up from 19 to 29 and 30 and 37 last year.
But he also got Laporta, right? Laporta, he got some weapons. St. Brown came in. Like, I feel like he had more. Like, whatever it is, I'm confident that the Bears are going to be all right.
The Bears have done a good job of getting skilled players for Caleb. The one thing they didn't do, and they couldn't get everything, was in the second round, they were going to draft Travion Henderson to be the running back.
Yeah.
He went 1 pick before they picked. And the one thing I'd like that Poles didn't do was he didn't just then chase like the next, like apparently on their board, there's a big gap between Travion and the next running back. He didn't just go, well, we need a running back and go down. They took Luther Burden. And there were people, I remember Adam Hogue, like, what do they need another wide receiver for? They have 2. DJ Moore gets hit wrong and you got 1. So this is fine. But then they got my favorite Bear as an undrafted free agent, Jade Walker from Texas A&M. I couldn't believe nobody drafted that dude. and he made the Bears, like easily made the Bears. Now he's not going to, he might not even, if everybody's healthy, Shady doesn't suit up this year for the Bears because, they've got Olamide Zacchaeus and, they're fine. They're 4 deep without any problem. Yeah. But that's a really talented dude. And I was really glad to see that they didn't try to sneak him onto the practice squad. He just made the team. We'll put you on the practice squad. We're not going to put you on waivers. Somebody's going to take you.
Right.
And they have Tyson Bagent. So, when the time comes to bench Caleb, it's like benching Drew Bledsoe and bringing Tom Brady in. Here comes Tyson Bagent.
Patience fine.
He's a very good.
I'm not mad. Yeah, he's a good backup.
He's a really good backup. And even with his contract extension, he's still dirt cheap.
Yeah, and he's a smart guy. He's good in the quarterback room, apparently.
And you talked about the 3-year window. The reason it's really important is the Bears have the unbelievable advantage right now where they have the rookie contract quarterback. But most of those teams pay a veteran to be the backup who makes a decent amount of money just in case.
Yeah.
The Bears have the backup, and he's cheap.
That's right.
So they have all that extra money to spend on other positions.
Yep, that's right. So that's the one thing that's what allowed them to go and get 3 really expensive guards. And on top of that, they extended Tooney, they extended Jackson. It's cool, man. It's because you got it through a window, and you got a Super Bowl.
Most teams would look at that and be like, "You can't. How can you pay $40 million for your guards? That's ridiculous. You can't do it
because you're only paying."
The Bears because we don't pay our quarterbacks anything. That's how we can do it. And when 3 years from now, we can't do it, but we can do it right now, and so we're going to do it. And I don't know. I don't remember how much Tooney. And the other thing is, football players never make what you think.
Right.
The number that gets reported.
Yeah.
The real number is always dramatically less than that. That's why.
Well, it's not dramatic. Yeah. Sometimes it's not dramatically less.
Well, a lot of times it is.
Watson. To Deshaun Watson.
Well, yeah. Well, that was different because the Browns were dumb enough. It was all guaranteed.
Yeah.
They guaranteed the entire contract.
Right.
It's the only contract in history that the number was really the number.
Yeah. And the thing is, now you've got void years that you're still paying the guy to still count against the cap later on. And there's all types of restructures. Mahomes is signed to a 10-year contract, and he's going to get all of his money. But they keep kicking the can down the road because they keep adding years to it every year to lesser the cap it from 70 million to 45 or whatever.
It's funny because for a long time, especially when the whole time Sean Payton was there.
Yeah.
The Saints were always they're in cap hell. Oh my God. And they somehow would keep everybody year after year after year. And they kept making runs at it. Well, Dennis Allen, the new Bears defensive coordinator, can tell you that it actually does catch up to you eventually.
Oh, it does.
And the last 2 years, they were fucked. Yeah, they were having to let good players go. I forget who was the guy. They let a linebacker go who went to the Eagles and was all pro.
Yeah.
And Dennis is like, well, yeah. We couldn't pay him. We can't pay anybody. We're screwed.
We'll play a Albies going to get a contract next year, and I don't think they're going to be able to pay him.
Well, I think the Saints finally got to the point where they just had to. At some point, you have to just eat it, and then you can start over.
Yeah.
And I think they've basically starting next year, they get to operate like a normal team again.
Okay.
But you can only hold it off for so long.
Yes.
You can stretch the money and put it off, and eventually, if you do it that way, you pay for it at some point.
Well, it happens to everyone. It happened to New England. New England, after Brady retired, or after Brady went to the Buccaneers. One of the reasons Brady went to the Buccaneers was because they were in that cap hell. Because they just kept kicking. And when you're a good team, the thing is that when you're a good team, winning the Super Bowl is such a big deal, or winning a couple of Super Bowls is such a big deal that you can afford to do that. And who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Nobody in New England is mad about how bad they were last year or 2 years ago.
No.
Nobody's mad about it. Not only are they not mad about it,
because they're Boston fans, but you can't realistically be mad. And
they got their franchise quarterback. They dug themselves out of that cap hell to the point where they spent a shit ton of money this year. Whether they're good players or not is something else, but they spent a shit ton of money this year. Now they just sort of keep going.
I heard a crazy thing about the Patriots. What's his name? Why can't I think of the quarterback? Drake May. He's the only player from last year's draft class who's still on their team.
On the Patriots?
Yeah.
Robert
Mays said that their whole draft is already washed out. Except him.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I guess it's true. I got to look that up. But he said it. I was like, holy fuck. They were talking about how, how How messed up.
Is that just a bad draft? Like,
Yeah.
was it that bad of a draft? Holy shit.
Yeah. He's the only one left already. It's like, how after 1 year is that even possible?
Wow. That can't be right. All right, we're running long. We'll talk about the Bears. I will say this, just one last thing. One of the when I listen, sometimes when I walk into a record store, and it's always been the case. It's nothing new. Like I'll just pick out a CD or I buy a record, and it's amazing. Like I love doing that with used records. The last time I did it, the best $4 I ever spent on a record, I bought a Tim Buckley record when I was living in Denver. I just oh, this looks like a cool album. I know who this guy is. I've never listened to him, and it's called Postcards from LA. No, not from Greetings from LA. It's a wonderful album. I recommend to everybody. One of the other things that I did that with, this was probably back when it had to be 15, 20 years ago. I walked in and I bought a CD. It was a Carlos Santana CD, live at the Fillmore in 1968. It was a concert that they did 8 months before they ever put out a record, and it's one of the greatest things that you'll ever hear. It's called Live at the Fillmore 1968. Go listen to it on Spotify or however you stream your music. Go out and buy it if you want. It's fucking amazing.
Nice.
It's literally before they ever released a record. It's obviously before Woodstock, before they did anything, and it's just raw and wonderful, and it's great Carlos Santana and how he plays for the Cubs.
Yep, there's good old number 41. All right, before we go, I have the answer.
Okay.
On the 53-man roster for the Patriots right now, the only draft pick from last year is Drake May.
Get the fuck out.
Second round pick Jalen Polk is on the IR with a shoulder injury.
Okay.
Their third round pick and fourth round pick, Caden Wallace and Javon Baker, were cut. Their sixth round pick is on IR with a torn ACL. And their other sixth round pick, Joe Milton, was traded to the Cowboys. And their last pick, Jaheim Bell, was cut in the second round of their cuts. He's already gone. So they have three guys left from their draft class, but two of them are on the IR and then Drake.
Yeah.
It makes it pretty tough. That's
not really fair.
When year two, you have, but you should be all right, these guys are in the second year. Now they're just finally figuring stuff out. It's going to be great. It's like, oh, well, it's just Drake. Sorry.
Right. Well, especially it's one thing to not have your 6th and 7th round picks, right? Like whatever. Like even that, you hope the last couple of years. But their second round pick is on the IR with a bum shoulder. But holy shit! After that,
third, fourth,
that's rough.
6th, 6th, and 7th, all released, and the 4th round pick is on IR.
Like you would hope that at least the 2nd and the 3rd round picks stick around. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough.
So I guess I did hear that right. I thought they were gone, but all but 3 of them are gone.
Just on the roster, like on the active roster is what they were saying. What he was saying. All right.
Well, it was fun.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, that was fun.
2.5 hours. It's like I remember this crap.
Good thing
we're just getting warmed up. If this was remember this crap, we'd only be up to like 1976.
It's always funny. I guess we talk about it offline.
All right.
Thanks. See you later.
Stop.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. I mean, got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Thank you. Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Andy.